Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of Tinfoil Tuesday. I hope you're all having a good one. We're already on a hype train. Remember, if we get to level 5 of the hype train, we'll tinfoil outfit up. We are doing bingo today, of course, so get your bingo cards ready. You can get that by doing !bingo in the chat, and the bot should get that if the bot is working, which looks like it is. Good. What else? 1 card per person. Please only use the first card that rolls for you. Don't roll over and over and over again until you get one that you think looks good. It's bingo. You know. Honor system, but nonetheless. First person to win bingo, call out bingo in the chat, preferably highlighting me, like @HannahReloaded, so I can easily see it. And I'm going to need a link to your bingo card, and the first winner will get a gift sub. 77% to level 2. Tucker White with 45 bits says, sad news, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. I think Jon Stewart crossed over to the dark side. Oh god, what's he doing? We should hold fossil fuel companies accountable, but they're not our enemies, they're our frenemies. Yikes. He also did something about the GameStop stuff recently, which I wasn't a fan of. Atheist Brony, thanks for 15 months at tier 2, so any Peter today? Peter has gone MIA. So I don't know where he is. I don't know if he's tweeted anything. He has me blocked. But who knows? His stock in Trump's social media company probably isn't doing great. It's gone down a decent bit since it opened, so who knows? Kirthan with 100 bits says, call me a potato because I'm ready to get wrapped in tinfoil and baked. Atheist Brony says, run that train. Miss Kays, thanks for gifting a sub. Bumble Homestead with 200 bits says, yay, foil entertainment to get me out of the doldrums and hopefully get this housework done. Minute and a half left, 77% to level 2. Today is the day we cannot let it die, chat. Any other day if a hype train dies. Okay, I get it. It happens. Tuesdays? Never. Never allowed. Ivana be spanked, thanks for 18 months. That's a sub baby. This baby's name is going to be Ivan Dragon. Ivan Dragon is the name of this sub baby. Blackwing Hecate says, next time you do a cringe stream, I should send you the Penguin of Doom copy pasta. There's some peak retro cringe. If you send me long copy pasta, I'm probably not going to read it, because then it'll become a thing, and we'll be spending half the stream listening to me read all sorts of copy pasta. Although I guess if it is for a cringe stream, that's fine. eTune2350, thanks for 7 months, says, the spawn cometh. Blackwing Hecate, oh wait, duh. No, that was 7 months. Yeah, not quite a sub baby. Blackwing Hecate with 45 bits says, I love that top, where'd you get it? Baja got it for me for my birthday. Back on the 12th. So you'd have to ask her specifically where it's from. He hasn't posted on Twitter since February. Interesting. Ferris Hex, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs to the community. Much appreciated. Overthought with 100 bits says, paranoia biddies. Bumble Homestead, thanks for gifting a sub. Gaish, thanks for 100 bits. Nick Bush YPP says, so I have angered the gods as there is water dripping from my dining room ceiling fan. Oof. Hope you can get that fixed. Neemsor Kolboth, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs to the community. Level 4 complete, 34% to level 5. Looks like we might make it. Ferris Heck says, doing tax stuff as a freelancer today, so thank you for entertaining me this afternoon. Well, thank you for doing people's taxes and making sure they don't get audited. You got it off Amazon? Okay. This comic may be up my alley. It covers how conspiracies control the world and the main guy is gay and married. Let's see. The Department of Truth. Oh, I kind of like the art style. Interesting. Do they have trade paperbacks? Yeah. Volume 1. Oh, it's only $9 too. That's not bad. Okay. I'll save this. Thank you. I'll check it out. Is this Image? Is this done by Image? I see a little eye. Oh yeah, Image Comics. Nice. I like Image. Monster Junior, thank you for gifting a sub, getting us to 51% to level 5. So only 49% left, and we can get this party started. Right, as the song says. Is that a song? Am I remembering that correctly? I don't know. Bim, 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 bim. E-Tune with 1,000 bits says, bits for the hype and missing quite a few streams. Thank you very much. Red Werewolf, thanks for subscribing with Prime for 10 months. Monster Junior, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs to the community. We did it, everyone. We are over level 5 of the hype train. Very nice. So let us get all the tinfoil. There's this. There's my bandana. Anonymous, thanks for 100 bits. 184% of the level 5 hype train. Appreciate it. Purple Nickel, thanks for 16 months. Says only 2 more months before our second sub baby, little Hannah Peters, gets a sibling. I forgot I named one Hannah Peters. Got some hair stuck in the thing, but I got it. Probably gonna have to open a window. I can tell I'm gonna be warm today. Now where are my gloves? Thanks. Xenon Exemer, thanks for 17 months. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. All right. Tinfoil achieved. We did it. Brand achieved. Why did I pick this as an aesthetic? Because it looks good, that's why, goddammit. Radiology says, yay, foil day. And I'm at my partner's place, so you're being projected on the 100-inch projector screen. And this time, there's more than honor riding on if you've cleared the bingo card or not. Who makes the coffee first thing tomorrow morning from beans? And we don't have an electric grinder, just a very tiny hand crank affair. Let me ask Radiology, what side were you on? Like, what happens if it is cleared versus not cleared? Who's on the hook? And then we'll reveal. Grimthorpe with 100 bits says, I have a bet with Radiology if you cleared the bingo card. Who has to do what? I'm just curious. You can see my hands, I'm not doing anything. So, like, I couldn't clear the bingo card even if I wanted to right now, by the way, because it would change this screen. So, let's see. Someone let me know before we, reveal. Because I want to know what the stakes are. Did Radiology bet against me again, even though I proved you wrong last time? You are betting I won't have remembered it to do twice in a row. Well, bitch, get ready to grind some motherfucking coffee. How dare you not have faith in me? Look at this. Look at this. Nerdtacular, thanks for subscribing. You have fucked up. You have fucked up. That's all I have to say about it. How do you feel? Can I just Can I hear how you feel now for not trusting me? I just want to put that out there. Also, I'm on your big, like, projected screen, apparently. 100 inches? How's this look on a 100-inch screen? Go grind that coffee, motherfucker! Sometimes my job is pretty fun. You feel fine about all your choices? Do you, though? Do you? I didn't get a notification for your Prime sub, no. But thank you for it. Sorry I didn't get a notification. Okie dokie. Let's go ahead and jump into it, shall we? I'm not owned. That just makes me think of the... Oh god, who's that guy on Twitter? I'm not owned. I'm not owned. Anyway. What are we gonna do first? We could do the guy... Just little bits... Drill. Yeah, that's his name. We could do the little bits from the guy who thinks the sun isn't real. He has a lot of content we could delve into and investigate. What's this? Don't need that. Oh, did you guys miss the guy who doesn't think the sun is real? Huh. What one do we do first? I guess let's go see his newest stuff if he has anything newer.
Let's keep talking about the sun, okay? It seems like a pretty hot topic.
Oh, God. He thinks the sun isn't real or something, or that he's being lied to about the size, shape, distance of the sun. Nick says, the sun isn't a real guy. Science teachers hate him. Atheist Brony says, for the sake on my bingo card, we need some CC. We do have a CC video later, but it's a brief one. Hawthorne says, I was watching a documentary earlier about where the whole tinfoil thing came from, and apparently it turns out tinfoil actually increases radio conductivity of radio waves. Yeah, it comes from a short story, a science fiction story about someone trying to block mind control waves. I don't remember who the author was. I think it was someone relatively famous, though. Was it Philip K. Dick? He was a paranoid guy. Literally. Anyway.
Get it? So the sun is 4.3 million kilometers in circumference. Well, how'd you figure that out?
I would imagine they measured it. I would imagine they measured it and did some math based on the distance to the sun, and then did calculations on if we see it as this big in the sky and it's this far away, this is how big it is. Math.
Where's the proof? You know? So you sent a probe around the sun to see how big it was. You're assuming it's a circle. Unless you can see.
We're assuming it's a circle. I can see it. Don't get me wrong. Don't look at the sun. But if you do look at the sun, which I don't recommend, it's bad for your eyes. You can see it's a circle. You can see it appears to be a circle. And a circle, when you're looking at it, good chance it's a sphere, especially considering things in space turn into spheres because of gravity.
See all sides of it.
We can see different sides of it during different times of the year. Fun fact, we're going around it. Elliptically.
Where do we ever see that? Where do we see pictures of any of this shit, right?
Pictures of the sun. Oh, look. It's a picture of the flippin' sun. Woo! Hydrate.
You didn't snap one pic, you know? People take pictures of their fucking soup. You didn't think to take one of the sun?
There literally are pictures of the sun. There are pictures of the sun.
The other side? Not one?
It all looks like a big nuclear ball. It's constantly roiling and like you can see video of the sun. Let's see. Video of the sun. Not the sun exploding. Look, it's the sun! Overthought says, this guy, vegan teacher Marcel and Jordan Peterson team up to form some Canadian IQ vacuum Avengers. So that's the sun. It's cool. If anyone makes a no, it's hot joke, you're banned.
The Earth's core is 9,392 degrees Fahrenheit. The sun's core is 27 million degrees Fahrenheit.
Baja, you're banned. Tucker White says, how did we as a species go from early civilizations worshipping the sun as a deity to dipshits like this claiming it's fake? Internet. It's the internet. Nick says, no, you're hot. Thank you. Can't ban you, bitch? I can. I just won't, because then I'll have to remod you.
The sun's surface is 9,941 degrees Fahrenheit. So the Earth's core and the sun's surface are almost the same temperature. But who figured it out? What did you...
Scientists who study specifically the sun and astronomy. You know, people who spend their entire lives working on these problems only for dipshits like you to get on the internet and go on TikTok and go, nuh-uh!
Did you use? What tool is it?
We live together and you'll be contractually bound together in a matter of months. That's true. I'm pretty sure our marriage contract is going to say, cannot ban from Twitch. That's in the vows. For better, for worst, for shit posts. No banning on Twitch. I do.
It'd be a pretty popular guy that invented that. You know? Albert Einstein, Alexander
No, not word salad.
Graham Bell, Nikola Tesla, and the guy that figured out the core temperature of the Earth and the sun.
First of all, those are different people, but those don't really impact our everyday lives the same way as, like, the telephone or the atomic bomb, which Albert Einstein had a small part in. Like, nah. Like, I get it. I understand. There are famous scientist, Einstein, for, like, relativity. And not to mention, like, his defection to the United States. But, like, these are people who either were in the pop culture for very specific reasons, like Einstein, or people who contributed something that is part of our everyday lives. The person who invented the light bulb, who didn't really invent the light bulb, but you know what I mean. The person who invented the telephone. Philo Farnsworth, who invented the television. Like, these are people whose names people know because we come in contact with their inventions all the time. People don't really need to know, generally, who figured out the temperature of the sun, or the core of the Earth, or whatever. They're interesting, and you can look those up, and that information is readily available, but most people don't feel the need to know it, and it doesn't come up. Moira Soma says, in a debate on MDD, in an attempt to explain why if the sun is small and local it gets colder the higher you get, Nathan Thompson managed to claim the sun isn't warm. This is where conspiracy theories lead you, to utter lunacy. Where does he think heat comes from? What does Baja Blasts mean on the bingo card? It means Baja explains something science-related, because she is a scientist.
What's the big fucking secret? Okay?
It was Max Planck that figured out black body radiation, which is where we get the sun's temp from. Interesting.
The furthest we've been from Earth so far, Voyager 1, is 23 billion kilometers, okay?
Yeah, I think it left the solar system a while ago. Though they keep saying that, but that's because they keep figuring out that the gravitational pull of the sun goes further than they assumed. But as of right now, I think they think it's out of the solar system.
That's how far away it is. I can't get a signal in a fucking parking garage, but You're communicating 23 billion kilometers away?
Very slowly. Very, very slowly. Like, at the speed of light, it takes light 8 minutes to get from the sun to us. I think it's about 8 minutes, 8.5. I'm not sure the exact amount. How long does it take to communicate with Voyager 1? I would imagine it's a while. Let's see. It takes 21 hours for signals to go either to or from Voyager 1. So yes, you can. It takes a while. They're not playing Call of Duty online, is what I'm saying. The ping is not great. But yes, they can get signals back and forth. It just takes a long time. Nick says, non sequitur on the bingo card is more just in a more just universe. Rachology says, as soon as we worked out how far the sun was away from us, it was possible to work out the size of the sun. And then there's a link about it, which people can check out. I would trust it, just because I'm not a crazy person who thinks the sun isn't the sun. Maps and Mimic says, they also spent more on Voyager 1 than you did on your shitty 2003 flip phone. And Tucker White says, it's amazing how easy the answers to every question is to find. We even figured out a lot of these answers thousands of years ago. And there's a link. Development of scientific understanding. In the early first millennium BC, Babylonian astronomers observed that the sun's motion along with ecliptic is not uniform, though they did not know why. Today it is known that this is due to the movement of the Earth in an elliptic orbit around the sun. Yeah. Those people were smarter than him, though, if I'm being honest. They're smarter than me, too, but I, luckily, have tools to help me, which this guy does not seem to want to take advantage of.
I mean, I get it. You have better tools, better instruments, more money. That's how you do it. It doesn't make any sense. We can't get back to...
Something not making sense to you doesn't mean it doesn't make sense in general. It's the difference between something that is unexplained to you and the inexplicable. Very different things.
The moon. It's only 384,000 kilometers away. That's fuck all. You said something 23 billion, but we can't go back to the moon? Not a single...
Eventually we're going to go back to the moon. There just hasn't been a lot of political will to do so. Mostly because us getting to the moon was a big dick measuring contest with the USSR, and it was a result of the Cold War, and basically trying to show that we could shoot each other with nuclear missiles, but in a wink wink, we're just going to the moon way, but actually we can also shoot you with missiles. But yeah, we'll go back to the moon eventually. There's just, not a lot to do there. The amenities aren't great.
Single picture has been taken of the moon. On its surface.
Did you just say not a single picture of the moon has been taken on its surface? Many pictures of the moon have been taken on its surface. There's video from the moon. I'm going to, in fact, Criterion Collection for all mankind. So a lot of you know that I'm a collector of movies and Blu-rays and 4Ks and everything. The Criterion Collection is like a boutique brand Blu-ray manufacturer that puts things that they consider significant historically to film in their collection. And coming out next month, which is something I'm planning on getting, is For All Mankind, which is literally a documentary coming out in 4K of footage of the moon landing. So literally, next month, I will own 4K video of people on the moon! Like Sallow. Yes, like Sallow, okay? Okay? People eating shit on film is historically significant. They're also putting pink flamingos on sometime later this year in the Criterion Collection. So yes, significant. Every film where someone eats shit should be in the Criterion Collection. Fact.
Since, they lost the technology. Yeah, we can't do it anymore. Unfortunately, we can't.
Is there porn in that collection? I don't think so. Vinegar Syndrome, I think, does some vintage, like, 70s pornography. I'm not interested in collecting that, just because, like, I don't care. But if you're into vintage pornography, Vinegar Syndrome does DVD and Blu-ray releases of vintage pornography. Tucker White says, now we'll finally see Stanley Kubrick hiding in the background.
Like, that's not fishy for anybody? Really? Just can't get there, eh? Why?
It's a funding issue, sir. It's a funding issue.
Pourquoi? It makes no...
I'm telling you, the week that we go back to the moon, which will be within our lifetimes if we don't all die horribly for some reason, is going to be such a good week for Tinfoil Tuesday. Every flat earther in the universe is going to try and tear the 4K live footage apart, and it's going to look so ridiculous because it'll be clear that they're on the fucking moon, and all of them are going to be like, no, it's fake, it's a green screen. It's going to be great. Sky Comet Fallen says, you can take pictures of the moon at home. Amazon sells telescopes that have a smartphone attachment that lets you take HD pictures of the moon close up with your phone. This guy is dumber than Cece, which hurts me inside. And then Blackwing Hecate says, I want a Criterion Collection release of A, The Devils, and B, Marat Sade. I'm not familiar with either. Do I think Cece will be alive for that?
No fucking sense.
He's not vaccinated, so it's 50-50.
That's all you...
Aren't the Chinese doing missions to the moon? I know they just recently sent a rover to Mars. I'm not familiar if they're having plans to do a manned mission to the moon. I hope they are. It'll spur further missions from the US and other places around the globe. Not to mention, I don't really care the nationality of someone going to the moon or doing things like that. Like, I'm not this person who's like, oh no, someone from China went to the moon. Chinese government went to the moon and we didn't. Human beings on the moon is a good thing. I don't care what country you're from. That's cool. Hawthorne with 5 months says, 5 months already. This sub-baby seems most active on Tuesday night. No call videos today. Although his channel did get demonetized, even though I haven't been covering him, which is fun. I like knowing that Call for an Uprising continues to harm himself and getting his channels deleted and demonetized without me being anything to do with it. So that's good. Maybe he'll learn I'm not the cause of all his problems. Maybe he'll realize the common denominator is himself. Princess Amelia says, asking why we can't go back to the moon is like asking why I can't go back to London. I could at any time I wanted. I just don't have the reason to right now. Sky Comet Fallen says, I'm glad I'm drinking because I don't think I can handle this shit fully sober. Radiology says, and look at this, light from the moon's surface hit silver crystals on a strip of film taken to the moon, and then light was protected through that film onto light-sensitive paper, and recently someone bought that paper at auction because unlike NFTs, real things have value. Oh, that's cool.
You would ever watch exploration. That's what we are. We're fucking explorers. We want to see the depths of space. What's more interesting than that? They'd make more money showing us, but they don't. Not a single picture of
fake sun on the bingo card. Sure. He's not clear on exactly what he thinks the sun is, but it's vague enough that I'll say yes. Poetic Fox says, Hannah, I just landed and I'm about to see my boyfriend after 10 years of long distance. Right on. Hope you have a good time.
Anything. Just all hidden.
Oh, sorry. It's pronounced Saad, as in Marquis de Sade.
Why would you hide that? Why would you hide that? They would make more money and they're not showing us. So why then?
Wait, why would they make money going
Let's keep
to the
talking
moon?
about...
That's not how that works. You don't make money going to the moon.
Guys, number one, somebody made a fake account and is pretending to be me. It's not me. I reported it already. If this person comes across to you, just report it. It's an account with no videos on it.
This is getting a lot of attention. I'll leave the link for this post in the description. I'll be talking through this, okay?
I don't mean to be a pill, but none of us have seen what happens when a body floats out into space, except in movies.
Agreed.
And the movie people got it wrong. Not your fault. This is screenwriter's fault. This is confusing for two reasons. One, we got a bad piece of data. We said that space is cold,
so it's
which
not.
Is true if you take all space and average it together. And also, it's dramatically unintuitive because there's not a lot of air in space, and we experience heat through touching of stuff.
Well, we're stuff, right?
Stuff to
a person is
space.
stuff.
But importantly, for your concerns.
Did you hear what he just said? There's no air. If there's not air to conduct heat away from you, it's probably not as easy to get heat taken from your body. I'm not saying it won't happen over time. It's just going to happen slower.
Turns about the sun. If you stick something up in space at our distance from the sun, it will get very, very hot. Like the International Space Station is about 250 degrees Celsius in the parts that are in the sunshine, and negative 250 degrees.
Wouldn't it be nice if he just shut the fuck up and listened for 5 seconds instead of trying to rebut everything he said? Dr. White says I can't follow any of this. Yeah.
Celsius, so in the parts that are in the shade. It's hard to make a space station. And when astronauts are in space, they have to wear these amazing liquid-cooled underpants.
He literally is explaining it right now, yes.
Look at this man.
Hey, Hank. I'm Mario. Nice to meet you, buddy. I appreciate your explanation. My problem is nothing seems to add up.
Why is his house so cold? Jesus Christ. He's inside, but his breath is showing. Did his heat get shut off? That sucks. Spare Keys with 2 months says, oh, guess I can do this now. So I just had a thought that I would like your thoughts on. If and when Russia collapses as a state, what happens to the cosmonauts out in the International Space Station? Do we adopt them? If that were to happen, the apparatuses would still exist to return them to Earth. They'd be fine. VoidTuber, thanks for 6 months, says, 3 more months for that sub baby. I can't wait for my sub baby. Only kind I'll have, being a trans woman and all. Stone Corbell says, my problem is I didn't listen to anything you said.
There's a lot of misinformation out there. I mean, if we Google the temperature of space, it says negative 455 degrees. You're saying that, okay, if you combine it all together, it'd be negative 255 in the shade, positive 255 in the sun. Would that not freeze a body? Or burn it alive? So which is it?
Dude, he's saying, again, that when we go into space, we have spacesuits that protect you from that.
Right? Not really explaining how that works. You say, well, there's no stuff in space.
You literally did just explain that.
People are stuff. So would we...
Yeah, but if people aren't in contact with air or anything to conduct heat away from their bodies, it's going to take longer for the heat to dissipate.
Freeze or not. It's like asking a guy for directions, and he's like, yeah, it's 2 roads to the left and 150 million kilometers that way. Meanwhile, he has no idea what he's talking about. It just feels like someone's getting defensive. You're not the only person to come after me with this either. August the Duck on YouTube tried to make me look like an idiot, saying this man doesn't believe in the sun. I never said that. I just said I didn't believe in the facts that were given. And why would I? They're ridiculous. Right? They should just stop saying whatever. Maybe stop saying things. You know? Show it with a little bit of...
Because you can, like, see his breath. I'm just concerned about this guy now. Because, like, you can see his breath and he's in his house, it looks like. And it seems like his heat's turned off, and that just makes me sad. Alright. I'm done with Sun Guy. Maybe he's in his garage. It could be. I hope that's the case. Because even though he's a conspiracy crazy person, I don't think anyone deserves to not have heat when it's cold. Let's do a quick CC vid. All he's put out since the last time we covered him is a brief 3.5-minute video, but I like to have an appearance of Chris here on the show. He's always an interesting man who yells at clouds, so let's see what he's up to today. Not in his truck this time, so that space isn't getting ticked off, at least not by him. Sky Comet Fallen with 45 bits says, I think you're doing a fine job making yourself look like an idiot all by yourself, sir. He was doing his best, but you know.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris, from New York, Westchester County. It's 3:13:22. I hope you pushed your clocks forward. Because
perhaps for one of the last times, did you guys see the Senate unanimously voted to make daylight savings time permanent? I think it has to go back to the House. But if that gets voted on, then in 2023, we'll be done with daylight savings time. Well, it'll be permanent, but, you know, we won't have to switch every year. Which would be nice.
This is now daylight savings time.
At least if you're in the United States. I don't know what the international thing is. Wait, do other countries do daylight savings time? Is that an American thing? I don't know.
Anyway.
Mike says, "Look at this drama queen." Oh God, what is this?
Joe, I didn't eat today, Joe.
God, it's not the president's fault. Gas prices are high. Blackwing Hecate says, "Tried to make me look." Nope. Tried to make me look like an idiot. You don't need help from me, sir. Denmark does? Okay. Where did he go? There. Nope, wrong one. There he is. Gas prices are high because of oil company greed. I don't disagree. Also, Russian oil being banned in a lot of countries is having an impact. And this is off topic from the conspiracy stuff, but it frustrates me because this is a talking point a lot where people are like, we only get like 10% of our oil from Russia. Why all of a sudden our price is going up so much? More than 10% or whatever. All right, let me explain this. Not only is the US not taking in Russian oil currently, but a bunch of other countries also aren't, or it's becoming less easy to get Russian oil if you are still getting it because of all the embargoes on Russian goods, all of the sanctions, making it difficult to do finance with Russia. So, other countries who use more Russian oil than we do also can't get it, or it's more expensive to do so. So they're seeking out oil from other sources, and they're trying to get oil from other sources that we also get from, thus raising the prices overall. It's not just our lack of access to Russian oil, which I think is a good thing, but it's the fact that other people also lacking access to Russian oil are also trying to get oil from the same places as us. The demand increases, thus so does the price. Okay.
We have 4 or 5 top scientists that are representing science
Are you talking about science communicators?
in this country. Okay. One of them being NDT.
It's a little quiet. Let me turn it up. Neil deGrasse Tyson. I've heard Neil deGrasse Tyson is a big asshole. But, yeah. He is a science communicator.
Now, he's stated a couple of things, that the Earth is a pear, and we've all ripped that apart.
Chris, when he says the Earth is shaped like a pear, he's talking about very subtly the fact that the Earth is slightly bigger in the southern hemisphere than the northern hemisphere. It's slight. His wording is not great, considering how stupid a lot of people are, but he doesn't mean what you people think he means when he says that. CC infers his wife hates him on the bingo card. Whenever he's whispery in the kitchen, I do assume that, so yes. Tucker White says, we got F all of our oil from Russia. Most of it comes from either Canada or here. Biden's approved record numbers of drill permits, so it's companies like ExxonMobil, Shell, Sunco realizing they can get away with price gouging.
It's very nice, thanks. I appreciate trying to explain what the shape of the Earth is, fucking pear. But then he also says, and he states, that the Earth has a bulge in the middle of the equator, which is 14 miles high. Okay? 14 miles high. Because the Earth is revolving. Which it's not. It's obviously...
It is revolving.
Stationary. But according to the scientists that like to tell you that we live in space and we're traveling in space and with the sun and whatever the fuck it may be, doesn't make a difference. So let's take a look at that bulge at the equator that's 14 miles high. You see, you can't see this from space, apparently, the scientists.
Chris, 14 miles isn't a ton, and it's spread over a decent amount of land. It's reflected in its elevation, as we understand it, not in some big, like, bump that, like, is clearly visible from space or something, like the myth about the Great Wall of China, right? It's gradual through elevation. It's not a clearly demarcated wall of 14 miles high. Nick says 14 miles high. Ooh. Marcus Drake says, CC, the Earth is an oblate spheroid. It's not just correct, it's fun to say. And Tucker White says, bulge, you say? If this is the giggity. Nope. I am so goddamn tired of that clip. Next time you post that clip, timeout. So goddamn sick of it. Tiger White says, worth it. Double bird. Fuck you all. Nope, that's a timeout now. Misbehaving like a goddamn child. Hydrate.
Told us, you're too far away, but yet we still have no picture of Earth. It's all been stitched together. We have...
Chris, the Earth is very big, so yes, many of the pictures of Earth, even most of them, require them to be put together like a panoramic photo. But we do have pictures of the Earth that have been taken all in one go, during the moon missions, for instance.
No picture of Earth at all. With all these NASA missions and all the other crap, not one single shred of evidence of a picture of Earth in space. Other than graphics. So let's take a look at this. Now I'm calling out all the airliners, the pilots that are out there right now. Has anybody ever, because an airliner only goes about 4 or 5 miles in the air, okay?
Radiology says Mother Earth doesn't tuck, confirmed. Me and Earth have something in common.
4 or 5 miles. So NDT says that it's 14 miles of bulge of the water. Okay, see,
Chris, elevation is determined as how high you are from sea level. So if the sea level is higher, then you're higher relative to other places with a lower sea level, but you're still at the same elevation because it's relative to the sea level. Chris, you stupid bitch! Narnandia Owl, sorry I missed your bits, said, come to think of it, do flurfs have any explanation or attempt for tides, or is that another thing they pretend doesn't exist? Sorry, it disappeared somewhere. Pretend it doesn't exist like eclipses. I'm sure they have some explanation that they try and tout, but I've not heard it. Jeff Millart says, Neil deGrasse Tyson talking to kindergartners. The Earth is round. NDG talking to high schoolers. Gravity pulls the Earth into an elongated spheroid. Neil deGrasse Tyson talking to doctoral candidates. So if we do this incredibly long and complicated mathematical process, we find that southern hemisphere is elongated by gravity slightly more than the northern hemisphere, making the Earth slightly pear-shaped. Flat Earthers. Why is Neil deGrasse Tyson inconsistent? Yeah, I think some of the science illiterate people don't understand the idea of making concepts simpler for younger and less scientifically literate audiences, and it getting more complex as you go up. I don't know, though. Kind of like how explaining the models of atoms aren't accurate, like the ones you saw in high school with the very perfect circular, Like, that's not really what it looks like, but it's a way of explaining it. It's a model that helps you explain a concept, and then later you get more complex but closer to the truth versions. Atheist Brony says, this hurts. Can I sue Chris for facepalm-inducing head injury? You can try. Hannah puts hands on head on bingo card. I don't think I did.
We have like 2 problems here, okay? Not only the pilots have to also calculate that you're going 600 miles per hour, and you're also giving up, the curvature of Earth. So there should be something automated inside of the plane that they don't have to go dip down 2 or 3 inches. But now you have...
Chris, as long as your level, like your pitch, is that pitch or is that yaw? Pitch is like front back this pitch? I don't remember. But either way, as long as your pitch is level, then you're maintaining that. That's already a thing. It's called pitch. Narnia Owl says, almost like this is all how all education works. You start with basics for younger kids and then go into detail later. Yeah, Chris, planes on autopilot automatically correct for the pitch, which would be correcting for making sure you're level with the surface of the Earth, which de facto would be making sure you're accounting for curvature.
You have to dip up, because...
Bumble Homestead with 50 bits says, a lie to children. A lie to children, plural lies to children, is a simplified explanation of technical or complex subjects as a teaching method for children and lay people. The technique has been incorporated by academics within the field of biology, evolution, bioinformatics, and the social sciences. It's closely related to philosophical concept known as Wittgenstein's ladder. Interesting. Pedagogy. Very interesting.
The bulge in the equator is 14 miles. So have you ever seen a plane go through water? No. No.
And again, Chris, that would be a gradual raise. It's not a hard line. It would be a gradient.
Because it's all bullshit. Been lied to.
I would imagine it's 14 degrees relative to the lowest point of water level, which is probably at the poles, if I had to guess. Water close to the poles.
All of your life.
Is this a not how science works? I'm gonna say no. He's just being dumb, but I don't think it's the level of, like, that's not how science works.
And I'm sorry to tell you this. Thank you for subbing. Thank you for viewing my videos. Let me be a part of your life.
I mean, he seems a little less unhinged than his last couple of videos, so that's good. Maybe he's a little more calm. I'm kind of worried about his blood pressure. Let's take a quick look at the bingo card. CC infers his wife hates him. Someone doesn't understand how cameras work? Sure, for the pictures of the Earth thing, that's fine. Page 2. Flat Earth for Chris. Everyone keeps asking, so we'll do with that's not how science works for at the very least the sun guy. I gotta either take that off or more firmly define what that's not how science works means, because everything we do is not how science works. It's a conspiracy channel. But for now, we'll do it. I think that's it. Okay, that's it. Maybe the scientific method, or like doesn't understand the scientific method, would be a better replacement. Yeah. Fake sun. I did say so yeah, sure. Where is fake sun on here? Where are you, fake sun? 65. Cool. All right. Have we looked at Fouquet Word here on the channel? I don't know if we have. Fouquet Word is a flat earther who does a lot of flat earth content, and this week, oh boy, he has a video looking at memes making fun of flat earthers and then trying to debunk them. So, we're going to take a look at his debunking and explain why his debunking doesn't make sense, and in fact the memes are correct in insinuating that flat earthers do not know what they are talking about. So this should be an interesting one. Hydrate. And Procagom says, "You're not my real son."
Hello, Flat Earth researchers, debaters, and debunkers. I've got a collection of 9 anti-Flat Earth memes that I'm going to go through. They're good examples of the kind of mindset we're having to deal with when you ask people to simply question reality or question the consensus that we are taught as a scientific fact that we live on the outside of a spinning ball. So often those that hear about this will go on the attack, and they'll make fun of people like myself. Just
let me be clear, people usually make fun of flat earthers because they're a really easy target, because everyone virtually on Earth knows that the Earth is a sphere or an oblate spheroid. Don't get pedantic with me, chat. I know. It's just a really easy target. It would be like someone going around and being like, no, guys, the sky is yellow, and being like, wow, that guy thinks the sky is yellow. It's really easy material for jokes, if I'm being honest. It becomes a whole thing, and I'm part of this too, if I'm being honest, which is unfortunate, but hey, gotta pay the bills somehow. Part of that, like, online own culture, like, flat earther owned by I try and elevate that a little bit by trying to actually inform people on why people believe in conspiracy theories, where those beliefs, like, come from, the origin of specific flat earth, like, memes and conspiracy memes, not in the image macro sense, but in, like, the actual memetic, where do these ideas come from and why are they repeated so often. So I try and do a little better, but, like, it's firmly plowed soil, the whole, like, oh, flat earther owned thing. It's really easy to, like, dunk on people who are so demonstrably wrong, and people find that entertaining. I'd be lying if I said I didn't watch Flat Earth fail compilations and stuff like that. Sky Comet Fallen says, this is going to be some epically butthurt salt. And Narnia Owl says, I'm with H-Bomber Guy. Oblate spheroid is such a fun way to say it. And Tucker White says, we like to mock dumbasses because it grants us levity in this unyielding capitalist nightmare we call life. Also, I'm not playing a Dragon Ball clip. Where did it go? There it is.
asking the question and saying, well, hey, it appears to be level and stationary. Prove me wrong in the 5.
Okay. This is live. Do I get like a cookie for proving you wrong? No? Okay. Just checking.
6 years that I've been asking this question, no one's ever come up with any actual proof that we live on the outside of a...
No one's ever actually come up with any proof that you are willing to accept. Quite a difference.
Sphere, apart from pointing at the sky, talking about sunsets or satellites and the ISS as proof that we are some...
No one's ever provided proof outside of these various things they point to for proof, but I won't accept that because then I'd be wrong.
Somehow on the outside of a spinning sphere, which would otherwise be physically impossible unless we had concepts such as gravity to hold us on.
Gravity is a thing, so yes, it is handy that the laws of physics exist.
So, let's have a look at these memes and I'll give some responses to them. This one says, after 1,500 hours on YouTube, you have become wiser than all the universities combined. Become a flat earther. Well, there's quite a lot of assumptions there to start with. There's nothing...
He's about to literally do the thing the meme is making fun of. The thing that I consistently see out of flat earthers and conspiracy theorists in general is this idea that they somehow believe that their generalist layman knowledge can somehow trump the specialist knowledge of people with expertise in specific fields, which is virtually never true. I feel like these people grew up with too many movies where, like, the brainy, smart people got proven wrong by the plucky blue-collar worker. And hey, you know, being a layman or being like a blue-collar worker, these are great things. There's nothing wrong with these things. But the idea that, like, you just being a random person are going to come in and prove experts wrong is not only incorrect, but as we can see throughout this pandemic, an actively destructive societal force that is not good. It's arrogance. I am not telling you you are a worse person or a dumb person for not having the specific expertise of a different person. Everyone has expertise in different fields and things in life, some of them practical knowledge for jobs, excuse me, some of them scientific, some of them more philosophical, some of them just about being a good listener and being able to help people and having good interpersonal skills. Everyone has different things they're good at, right? That's great. But for some reason, conspiracy theorists get super insecure when they're confronted with the fact that there are people who know more about them in specific domains, whether it be like astronomy or medicine or geopolitics or whatever. They get so frustrated and their ego gets so bruised that they can't accept it and have to decide, no, it's a whole conspiracy. Everyone's lying to me. It's not that I don't know as much as someone who spent a decade in school learning, researching, and publishing papers on a topic that I only Googled. It must be that they're all working against me to make me feel bad for not knowing as much as them. It's a wild and destructive defense mechanism. Electric Coyote, thanks for 2 months. Lee Lovestuff says, why is it my phone tells me to watch your stream when you aren't streaming, but refuses to send me notifications when you're actually streaming? I don't know. Your phone's a dick. Atheist Brony says, Flurf's dismissing gravity as a thing because it's an answer to so many questions pisses me off so much. It's one of the 4 fundamental forces of the universe, so of course it answers a lot of questions. It doesn't have a lot of competition. Yeah. Weak nuclear force, strong nuclear force, electromagnetism, and gravity, in case you're curious. Marcus Drake says, Hannah has artisanal cheese knowledge. We can't all be her. I wish I did. I honestly don't know that much. I just enjoy it. Screaming at the Radio says, step on to prove the experts wrong. Become an expert. Overthought says, their whole argument against those in academic fields. Nerd! Yeah. And KBS says, the thing is, you can prove the Earth is round by very basic geometry, poles, and logic. The Greeks did this 3,000 years ago. Yeah. Was Call a flat earther? He never mentioned it, so it's hard to say. I don't think he believed in space, though.
Nothing wrong with YouTube as a resource for all kinds of information. It's a massive
Kind of depends on who you're getting information from. For instance, some universities put their classes on YouTube for people to see. Not entire universities necessarily, but certain professors will record their lectures and put them on YouTube. So if you have someone who's, you know, an actual PhD or something, who's giving talks in their specific domain of research, yeah, you could probably get some good information out of that. The issue isn't necessarily that it's on YouTube, though you're going to have trouble vetting your sources on YouTube, if I'm being honest, just because anyone can put anything there. But the issue is that the people that you're getting your information from on YouTube, if you are a flat earther, are people who are wholly unqualified to talk about the subjects that they are misinterpreting and teaching you incorrect information about. The fact that you find people like Phuket Word or who are some of the other famous flat earthers? CC, Nathan Thompson, Mark Sargent, any of the flat earthers out there, they are people who do not know what they are talking about, but unfortunately many of them speak with a lot of confidence, and a lot of people, that's all it takes, is to hear someone speaking on a topic with confidence, and they will immediately go, well, they sound like they know what they're talking about, so I must listen to them. That's not good, and that's not enough to establish credibility within a field, which none of these people have.
Vault of things that people have posted on a myriad of topics. You can find anything you want as long as it's not too controversial on YouTube. But you can certainly find lots of experiments and things like that that people have done to show you that there is no proof whatsoever that the Earth is a sphere. In fact, there's oodles of proof that we live on a...
Oh, they're on the dark side now. Ooh. And I know if any flat earther watches this, they'll be like, this is doctored. I know you're incredibly incredulous when faced with things like this. This isn't for you. We're making fun of you right now. Sit down. Blackwing Hecate says, if only there was a word for that, an arrogance person. No, that's not it. I'm blanking here, chat. Can you help me out? Maybe some kind of confidence man.
Level stationary Earth, but nothing to indicate that we live on a sphere. But of course, a lot of arguments about it. Of course, a lot of people might have come across the flat Earth because they watched a video on YouTube. And of course, people like myself talk about it and post videos about our findings and our research on YouTube.
Our research said by a not researcher on the bingo card. Sky Comet Fallen says, my professor puts free lectures about information technology on YouTube. Check out his channel if you're interested. See? Qualified individuals do put things on YouTube, but unfortunately, a lot of people don't want to listen to qualified individuals because they think they're elitist.
YouTube, simply because it does reach a vast number of people, and it is very easy and functionable to be able to... Functionable? Yes.
Oh, baby crying in the background.
I think so. Basically, it's easy to upload a video and talk about or even demonstrate how the Earth is not a spinning ball.
You fools think that humans have to eat food? Well, me and my breatharian friends know otherwise. We saw it on YouTube.
So, it's a great resource.
Bad parenting? Not enough. Babies cry. It's not enough that there was just a crying baby to know that he's a bad parent. Don't get me wrong, he may be. He's a flat earther, and he homeschools his kids, from my understanding, but, crying baby isn't enough.
But that doesn't make you wiser than all of the universities combined. What university, just because you get a university degree, does that mean that you know the Earth is a spinning ball?
You certainly know a lot more evidence and ways to, like, especially if you're in a field that deals with that, like astronomy or physics. Yes, if you get a university degree in astronomy or astrophysics or anything related to such things, physics in general, yes, you're much more qualified to comment on these things because you can probably derive equations that can specifically show you why that is the case. Yes. Narnia Owl says, yeah, you guys done such a bang-up job disproving the rotation of the Earth whenever you did a real experiment. Thanks, Bob. I don't think that's word salad yet now.
What difference does going to university make, or what difference?
Because you go there to learn things and learn how to prove things yourself. Do these people think you go to college and they just say, like, do they think it works like elementary school? Where they're like, this is the color red. This is red. It starts with the letter R. Can you all say R? But they think you're in college and you're like, everyone, this is the constant G. G is the gravitational constant. We're not going to tell you why. No, they teach you how to derive these concepts yourself and how they were discovered and how you can prove this to yourself if you want to. Like, college is a more back and forth process than, like, grade school. They want you to think in college. Marcus Drake says, Mom, stay out. I'm deriving equations in here.
Does having a degree make? And besides, there are plenty of very smart, intelligent people with degrees up to their eyeballs that don't believe the official narrative that we live on a spinning ball.
Like who? Name some. Who? And what are their degrees in?
I don't know why this statement is made, but of course...
Honestly, it's because anecdotally, out of all the flat earthers I've ever seen, most of them are not... How do I put this? They don't have very good... I'm trying to put this nice. They don't have a good ability to derive answers for themselves and think... I don't want to say creatively thinking, but just critical thinking. I've not met a flat earther yet with good critical thinking skills. Just my anecdotal experience.
It shows that there's this idea that as long as you have been thoroughly educated in the system, then you will believe that we live on a spinning ball because you understand the concepts and you accept the concepts without question.
No, you'll better understand why and how we know that the Earth is an oblate spheroid.
And in that case, you become...
This is like when right-wing people are like, colleges must be indoctrinating people because people come out of colleges more left-leaning. Yeah, they're more educated. Tucker White says, translation, they've not learned how to be not a stupid.
Become a globe earther. And if you think about it, this thing about saying that this is done through YouTube research. Well, if you're in your, if you're above middle age, in your 40s or 50s, you probably, or even older, you grew up in a time when there was very little choice of things to watch on TV. If you're from the UK, you might remember having only 3 or 4 channels to watch. And of course, the news was pretty much the same.
How old is this guy?
And as you go through life, you start to realize that or you do your research, let's say, you realize that all the...
Do your own research on the bingo card.
Media organizations have been gradually conglomerated into massive organizations.
No, not the thin line one.
With tentacles that feed very standard press releases to all those news outlets. So things can very...
It's completely fair and fine to be critical of the sources that the news is using and to investigate those sources. That's completely fine and understandable. You know, without being a conspiratorial crazy person who just doesn't believe anything. But, like, this isn't that. The news doesn't come on at night and go, breaking news, news at 11. The Earth is a fucking sphere. It's an oblate spheroid. Back to you, Jim. Thanks, Carol. Did you know that gravity exists? Over to the weather. Hi everyone. I'm Gary with the weather. The cyclones are going a certain direction because the Earth is a ball and different hemispheres spins differently. Thanks, Jerry. This has been the Round Earth News. No, that's not how the news goes. The news is like, oh no, someone was shot in the face at an Arby's. Oh god, there's a war. Oh, whoops, they got shot. I haven't watched the news in a long time. The point I'm trying to make is, the news doesn't really cover the Earth being round or flat. People don't learn the shape of the Earth from the news.
Very easily become...
Nonindia Owl says, you don't understand, Hannah. Every weather report is indoctrination.
Consensus, or widely known or passed off as fact, when you only have to broadcast on 1 or 2 TV channels to get your message across. So think about that. Many of us were raised in a time where we had very limited access to information. We could only...
It doesn't even make sense to me because the internet was invented out of a United States Department of Defense program. Why, if there was a grand conspiracy to hide the shape of the Earth from people or other general knowledge like that, would they develop a system and release it to the public that would allow people to freely communicate ideas as easily as you can on the internet? That doesn't make sense as a conspiracy, just so you know. Rachology says, even at undergrad level, the highest criteria for how you are performing is demonstrates original thought and presents a unique contribution to the topic. Tucker White says, congratulations, sir. You figured out that the robber barons control such a large proportion of the press, especially today, where it's at a level that the Rockefellers could only have dreamed of.
Take in what we were told through the box in the corner. But now we can at least look up something on YouTube and maybe learn something new and find a different take or different research or different new science that hasn't been shown to us on mainstream media for all kinds of reasons, including vested interests.
How many papers of flat earthers had published to reputable journals again and peer-reviewed? I can count that number on no hands. It's 0.
So, there's that meme done. Let's have a look at the next one. Water cannot curve. Balloons are fake. Become a flat earther. another idiotic answer to that question or demand for bendy water. Now, of course, we're talking about bodies of water. Water is known to be level in all instances, and if it's not level, then it will flow. It will flow down curve.
The point the meme is trying to make, which this guy, I've watched this video, at least part of it already. The point the meme is trying to make is that water can be contorted by forces. In this case, electromagnetism, the static electricity from a balloon, is causing the water to become attracted to it, thus bending. This guy doesn't understand that the point they're trying to make is that gravity is also a force, and gravity is pulling water towards the center of the Earth, and as the Earth is curved, yes, water indeed does curve around the surface of the Earth, but it happens so gradually, again because the Earth is huge, that it's not visible within the eye line of someone at sea level or at the top of the highest mountain or anything like that. You basically have to be in space, high up in space, in order to see the curvature of the Earth and thus the water curving. But it is curving nonetheless. Just because you can't see it within your own first-person point of view doesn't mean it's not doing so. We are very tiny relative to the planet we're on. So yes, forces can in fact curve water.
It doesn't just bulge and bend and not flow anywhere, which is, of course, what water would have to...
Where would it flow to? Water flows to wherever the closest to the Earth is. If water is at sea level, it's already as close to the surface of the Earth as it can get, unless a plug got pulled at the bottom of the ocean. It's already there. It's already at the lowest point it can get to. When water is flowing from a higher elevation to a lower elevation, it is trying to get closer to the surface of the Earth. Trying is a weird word because it implies agency when really it's just, following the laws of physics. But that aside, limits of human language, it is conforming to the laws of physics by trying to get to a lower elevation because it's trying to get to the closest to the center of the Earth it can, which is why we have sea level.
To do if it was on the...
Hernania Owl says, classic Flurf misunderstanding of what level means. Yeah.
The outside of a spherical Earth. So instead of coming up with some actual scientific measurements of curving bodies of water, we have this little parlor trick.
You can. There are calculations out there that you can derive as to how to figure out the curvature of the Earth over sea level. I think it involves trigonometry. I'm not positive, though. Not a math person. But there are other people out there who debunk flat Earth stuff that are very into math and no trigonometry and no calculus and can do that for you. Maybe it involved calculus. I don't remember. Hernania Owl says, classic Flurf misunderstanding of... Oh, I read that one. Sorry.
With a balloon that's been charged with static electricity, which will indeed pull the water. And that does... That's real science, I suppose. It does demonstrate a relationship between electricity and water or flow.
Yes, but it also demonstrates that water can in fact curve, given that it's attracted by a force. Gravity acts as a force.
Flowing water, at least. There's movement going on there. There's something very interesting happening there. But that's not even what is supposed to be the physics that holds water to a spherical Earth, is it?
They're not saying it is. They're demonstrating that the flat Earth line about water being unable to curve is untrue. Forces can in fact cause water to curve.
It's supposed to be gravity, so this isn't a demonstration of gravity holding bodies of water to the outside of the Earth. It's just a balloon that's been statically charged, making water bend, a thin stream of water bend.
Have the astronauts ever taken like a ball in space and put water on it to show how it works? ISS, ball covered in water? If not, they should do that experiment. Not quite the same, but a similar concept.
Astronauts on the international...
In space, water will turn into a sphere, because again, that's kind of how gravity works when you're in a zero-G environment is not a great explainer. When you're in what appears to be a zero gravity, of course there is gravity, but not the Earth's gravity. When you're outside of the Earth's gravity, that is a good way to explain it.
International Space Station.
Water will conform to the shape of a ball because things tend to group up in spherical shapes in space. This is why astronomical bodies are roughly spherical. Planets, asteroids, stuff like that. So you could do the same experiment, which I wish they would, just because flat earthers, I would like this as an example. Though, of course, astronauts have more important things to do than make stuff to make it easier for me to shit on flat earthers. But it would be nice if they took a little ball or something and applied some water to it to show that, yes, in fact, when you're not dealing with the much larger gravitational force of the Earth directly there to interfere, yes, water and other liquids will stick to a solid ball. But I think the spherical water stuff shows it enough, at least for you guys. You get it.
Now, you can also do amazing things with frequency as well. If you pass pass frequencies through flowing water or still water, you get some amazing patterns. Again, this is science. This is real physics, but it's real physics that really doesn't pertain to any explanations as to how water would stick to the outside of a globe. Now, of course,
gravity.
The thing is, in reality, we see water flowing, but on a globe, the water shouldn't be flowing down curves. Okay, so we're talking about entire bodies of
water flows from higher elevations to lower elevations. At sea level, it's the lowest it can go.
Water. So when you come up with this kind of demonstration, that's not a demonstration of an answer to the question, where is the bulging bend?
2 minutes in. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, the towel one.
Okay.
So it's not a sphere, but this'll do.
So here's a soaking wet washcloth. Get the microphone so you can hear me while I'm talking. And now let's start wringing it out. It's really wet.
He's wringing it, but the liquid still sticks to the object because of gravity. Every flat earther should watch this. Objects attract other objects. I am attracted... I'm not going to phrase it that way, because it'll get clipped. Everything around me is attracted to everything else around me, including my own body. This is attracted to this. This is attracted to this. But it's so weak, relatively speaking, that it's not going to overcome the force of gravity towards the Earth, which is the biggest mass around us at all times, because the Earth is huge. So this isn't going to get attracted to this. It's going to get attracted downward towards the Earth, right? But when you're in some place, like the International Space Station, where the Earth's gravity is far enough away that it's not interfering constantly, you can see this in effect. You can see water sticking to things like this. Not because of gravity, because of surface tension. I know you mentioned earlier the conformity of, like, the thing is surface tension as well. In this case, it's entirely because of surface tension. I apologize. That's very cool.
It's becoming a tube of water. The water's all over my hands. In fact, it wrings out of the cloth into my hands. And if I let go of the cloth carefully, the water sort of has it stick to my hand. Okay, so the experiment worked beautifully. And the answer to the question is the water squeezes out of the cloth, and then because of the surface tension of the water, it actually runs along the surface of the cloth and then up into my hand, almost like you had Jell-O on your hands or gel on your hand, and it'll just stay there. Wonderful moisturizer on my hands. And the cloth doesn't really unravel itself. It just stays there floating like a dog's chew toy, soaking wet. Great experiment, worked perfectly.
Yeah, I know about the Cavendish experiment. I just want something more evident to the eye. They don't believe in the Cavendish experiment. In fairness, they wouldn't believe anything from the ISS either because they're flat earthers and they think it's all fake. But
ending, curving water that we're supposed to see on a spherical Earth, especially if you say that the horizon is where the water starts to curve away from you, then there should be a way to show us that actual curvature rather than simply having faith that the physics of water suddenly changes at the limit of your vision. It's quite a ridiculous argument. Okay, let's go on to the next one.
That's not the argument. It doesn't change. Your perception just has limits. Princess Amelia says, the way things work in zero gravity is so fascinating. Makes me feel sorry for flat earthers who have to deny any of it's real. Yeah.
Here we have a picture of a spherical Earth in space and these two spirit levels on them. And of course, they aren't horizontally level with each other. We've got London over here and Stockholm on the right here. It says, no matter where on Earth you place a spirit level, it is level because the Earth is flat. Become a flat earther. Now, of course, this is one of those thought experiments that you have to have. We can see here that if we were to see such a vast section of the Earth at one time, a globe Earth that is, the spirit levels would not be horizontally plumb. They wouldn't be flush, with each other.
They're flush with the center of the Earth, which is the practical purpose of a level. That's the point. That's the point of them. Flat Earthers get so out there that they completely miss the forest for the trees. Guys, do I have a level up here? I don't. You guys know what a level looks like. A level isn't meant to demonstrate the shape of the Earth. It's meant to tell you at your relative place, where is the closest to the center of the Earth? Because when we're talking about something being flat and level, that's effectively what we're saying. Are all points along this line or surface, equally close to the center of the Earth? That is what is practically being asked when you're looking at something being level, right? Are all of this, if we had like a plank or something, are the points along the line of the surface of this equally close to the center of the Earth? And at a local level, they are for all practical purposes. It's not meant to show you the shape of the Earth.
They would in fact be angled like that. But of course the assumption is that the word level refers to a certain distance from the center of an assumed spherical Earth, or a circle, a geometric circle.
Hydrate.
So just like drawing a circle with a compass, the level of that surface is always the same distance from the center, and this is the perception of level. And of course you have to come up with this idea that, well, this gravity is pulling everything down towards the center. So of course the spirit level will still read level, even if it's gone round a curve from the first measuring point or reference point. But of course this is not something that we can do in reality. In reality, if you have a horizontal line that's plumb or perpendicular to plumb, and then you have that going off on a straight line, then that is your level. If there is any deviation from that, then of course it is not level with the first reference point. So this is just...
The problem with this is the flat Earth thought experiment is that you have to assume that the Earth is flat in order for it to make sense. You have to first assume the Earth is flat, therefore I have a level, and it says it's level, so everything must be flat. It doesn't really make sense on its own, and again, completely misunderstands how levels work.
It's an argument that insists that you imagine all kinds of things and you believe in concepts of gravity and...
Believing in concepts of gravity, now let's not get radical here.
And certain mathematical models, and you're allowed to say that even if something is at a different angle to something else in a different location, it's still level because it's the same distance from the center of the Earth. Either way, we're talking about concepts, which we all understand. We can all draw...
See you, Blackwing Hecate. Have fun.
...draw a circle, and as I've just explained the concept, but that doesn't make it reality. So what? We've got a concept here that's being turned into a meme. It's not a proof of anything. Oh, in fact, I should just mention that I've done an experiment in which I tried to measure any existence of curvature across 10,000 kilometers between going from Thailand, flying from Thailand to the UK, and there was nothing that I could do to find the existence of any curvature.
This is the idiot. I shouldn't be that mean. I shouldn't be that mean. I need to be better at this. I need to be more pragmatic. This is the guy who took a level like that on an airplane and, like, filmed it the entire time he was on the plane. And was like, it's level the whole way. Again. Yeah, at a local level it seems like that to you because the plane is continually changing its pitch in order to stay level with the surface of the Earth as it travels across the planet. The change is so gradual that you're not going to be able to measure it with a level that you use to, like, make sure shelves are not gonna tip over things.
It's level all the way. So the onus of proof there is really on the person claiming that level is bendy, not.
Okay. Are they in a sunny part yet on the live stream? So I can go. There we go. That's not a good angle for this, though. We gotta cut to this one. There we go. Burden of proof met.
The person that says it's level all the way to claim to prove that it's level, it is level, demonstrably level. So if you want to say that level is a curve, then you're the one that has to prove this obscene deviation from what level is usually is. And this one, the moon is local and very, very close. Become a flat earther. Another ridiculous thing here. I mean, we really don't know what the moon is.
We don't know what the moon is. We do actually. We do. It's a satellite, a natural satellite of Earth. It's made of rock. We've been there, played golf, went home, brought rocks. We're pretty familiar with the moon.
It's a funny meme, I must admit, but of course it doesn't really mean or prove anything. But
they're not trying to prove anything. They're making fun of you. It's not a goddamn, like, peer-reviewed paper. They're making fun of you.
It's difficult to know for sure the distance of any luminary in the sky, the sun, the stars, all these distances that.
Let's be clear, it's difficult for you and it's difficult for me because neither of us have training in the fields necessary in order to do that. I don't think it's very difficult for people in, like, astronomy to do that. They know how to do that.
We hear about the sun being.
Did I hear about the SWAT team sent into a Denny's for a sting operation versus an elderly woman with a moon rock? I didn't. Now I want Denny's, though. Sky Comet Fallen says, the moon is local and close, in astronomical terms. True. I like the moons over my hammy. I enjoy Denny's.
Being 93 million miles away.
And some hash browns, some hash browns. I was gonna say something else that would have been on the bingo card, but I'm not gonna.
Are just prerequisites for the model. They are necessary for the model, the heliocentric model. There's nothing that's ever been properly measured or proven. And if people say that they've got...
That's a claim you've made. That's certainly a claim you have made.
Radio signals, radar signals back from the sun that's 93 million miles away, then you
know they left, like, a mirror on the moon, right? You can get a laser thing and shoot it at the moon and measure its distance away. You can literally do that. Anyone can do that. They left a mirror on the moon!
really are living in cloud cuckoo land, because that's just simply impossible, given the assumption that you're moving through space at thousands of miles an hour and spinning at the same time. There's no way you'd get a radar signal back. And how can you send a radar to...
What? Yes, you can. Especially to the moon.
It would be great to show me a radar picture of the sun. Let's see it.
Okay, I don't know if that exists. We have actual pictures of the sun. Radar of the sun? Is that a thing they do? Why would you need a radar of the sun? I don't know what you would use it for. Like, genuinely. Isn't that how radar works? That makes sense. I wasn't sure.
Yeah. So, doesn't really
God, can you guys hear my stomach? It's growling.
do anything apart from show
I did eat today. I'm just dieting, so I'm hungry.
that the person thinking of like this was thinking of something silly. So, this one, the water in the bath is flat. The soil in the potted plant is flat. So the whole globe must be flat. I'm special. Become a flat earther. Well, again, where does it change? Where does the physics of water...
It changes. It doesn't change. It's just imperceptible to the human eye without, like, special tools. It's not that it changes. It's that you're not understanding that many little change make big change over long, long distances. Many little change make big change. Atheist Brony says, I think radar waves require air to travel through, so radar in space would be useless. Could be wrong, though. I don't know. Someone else says radar is radio, which works fine in space. So there you go. Yeah, no. Again, you just can't see it. It's not perceptible to your naked eye.
water change? Ask anyone to give you a measurable example of that, and they can't. There's...
There are literally suspension bridges that had to take the curvature of the Earth into account because they're long enough that they had to. The distance between the top of certain pillars on the suspension bridge and the bottom is different due to the curvature of the Earth. This is demonstrable.
The water in a bath is no different.
Solar radio emission? Solar radio emission refers to radio waves that are naturally produced by the sun, primarily from the lower and upper layers of the atmosphere called the chromosphere and the corona, respectively. The sun produces radio emissions through 4 known mechanisms. So the sun is literally giving off its own natural radio waves all the time that you could presumably detect if you had the correct equipment. I assume this guy just doesn't want to do that, though?
Different to the water in a loch or a lake or the ocean. And when the water in the ocean has somewhere to go, it will, or the ocean, or the water in a river, it will flow to a lower elevation. But if you believe you're living on a sphere, no matter whether you understand the concept that there's no up and down in space, the fact is that you assume that when you're stood on the Earth, that the surface is going or curving down and away from you. So in the real world, when water is going down and away from us, it will indeed flow down a curve or down a waterfall.
Is he saying he doesn't understand why water isn't flowing down the curve of the Earth? Because water goes from higher elevation to lower elevation, and elevation is determined by distance from the center of the Earth. Like, elevation is, measured from sea level, but when we're talking about elevation, what we're really talking about is basically things trying to get close to the center of the Earth. Gravity is pulling towards the center of the Earth. That is universal down on planet Earth. So no matter where you are around the Earth, water is trying to get to the lowest point, which is towards the center of the Earth, until it gets stopped by rock or whatever's preventing it from actually going into the crust of the Earth, right? There isn't a down in space, so it's always relative to the center of the Earth. There are, like, currents in oceans and stuff, but they're not based upon this elevation thing. I believe they're mostly temperature-based, though I could be wrong. Someone could correct me if I am. Things don't flow around the surface of the Earth because where would they be flowing? They're already sitting at sea level, which is the closest they can get to the center of the Earth. They've found the lowest elevation they can get to.
Or down even a few inches over several kilometers or miles along an aqueduct. This is physics, real physics of water on the real Earth that the Romans used to their advantage to get water from high up on mountain.
The Romans knew the Earth was round, just so you know.
Reservoirs all the way into cities which were at a lower elevation. They simply used the real physics of water and gravity in that respect, that once you have a large body of water at a high elevation, then it has weight and pressure to feed water to a vast area at a lower elevation. This is just simple physics. But at no point does the physics of water suddenly change so that it's not flowing down curves. And, well, maybe the person questioning this is...
Sorry, I just got excited because they cast Kirk in the new Star Trek series, and I got a notification for it. Kirk, Strange New Worlds. We'll go back to the flat Earth thing in a second. Paul Wesley has been cast as Kirk. Okay, interesting. Maybe I'm wrong for it, but I'm actually excited for Strange New Worlds. I hope it's good. Anyway.
So-called special.
He physically looks the part of a young Kirk, more so than I think Chris Pine did.
Because they're not going along with the official narrative, or at least questioning consensus, and that does make you...
Chris Pratt would have made a better Kirk. Don't you put that evil on me.
Look special, because you're the only person putting your hand up and asking a question which might appear to show that you don't understand the concept.
Picard Season 2 was off the hook. I wasn't able to finish Season 1. I gotta get through the rest of Season 1 before I can start 2.
And it's like, well, no, we don't... The concept's very easy to understand, but where is the proof of that in reality? Doesn't exist. So, yes, maybe you are special to be able to break free from these chains of education that we are given.
Break through from the chains of education. Famous Flat Earth quote.
From an early age. I think you would have to be somewhat special to not be totally brainwashed by everything that we're taught to believe at a very young age, without question. So that makes you special, brave, independent, free, yeah, rather than a slave. Right, yeah. This one. Are you thrown back in the train if you jump as it moves? Yes! Become a flat earther.
Okay, so there's a flat Earth thing where they ask, like, why can't we feel motion? It's because you don't feel motion. Motion is relative. You feel acceleration, positive or negative, so that includes what's colloquially known as deceleration. If you're on a train, like a maglev train that's going 200 miles an hour, but the speed is incredibly consistent, you can sit there and balance, you know, a coin on its rim if you have a flat surface. You don't feel motion. You feel acceleration. Flat Earthers don't seem to get that. Radiology says Kirk was the worst captain and Shatner is the worst Kirk. These are bold statements that are just very wrong. I'm glad you have to grind the coffee later. Holy shit. Kirk is a bad... Like, William Shatner is a bad person in real life, but Kirk is one of the greatest characters in science fiction history, and I will not have his name besmirched here on my channel.
What really happens, and does it make any difference? I mean, what is the point in talking about this? We're talking about real physics, I suppose. We're talking about conservation of momentum. So, yes, if you are in a train and you jump while it's moving along, then you might well not...
Pike is better than Kirk? In what way? They're very different, but I like them both. I liked Pike a ton in Star Trek Discovery Season 2. I liked him a lot. Anson Mount did a great job. They're just very different captains.
Necessarily, the train doesn't suddenly start.
It's like the whole Kirk versus Picard thing. They're both great. They just have different captaining styles. Kirk is a renegade, a cowboy, a swashbuckler. Picard is a diplomat. Janeway is able to sort of bend the rules in order to do what she needs to do to keep her crew safe in the Delta Quadrant. Sisko, similarly, he has convictions, but he also understands there are situations where those convictions are tested and need to be examined in order to ensure that those convictions can move forward, that they're not destroyed by the Dominion. Radiology says, I like a captain that doesn't IF every woman that works for him. That's a trope about Kirk that doesn't hold up as much if you watch the show. Kirk doesn't sleep with as many women as you would think in the original series. That became kind of a pop cultural thing. Most episodes, he's not doing that.
Moving independent.
Archer sucks, though. Archer is a bad captain. He should feel bad, and he should have left his dog at home.
From you, you have that inertia. You're going along with this. You have the inertia that you're being carried. You are part of the train until you detach from it. But you're still traveling. I mean, that's just normal physics. But of course, what we're talking about here is the.
Okay, I think I'm done with Flat Earth meme guy. He's just continuing, and now I'm off on a tangent about Star Trek. And as much as I like Star Trek, that's not what you're here for. So, let's move on. What is Star Trek? Is that Jay Bauman? I have nothing against Porthos. It's not Porthos' fault. They just shouldn't have brought him on the ship. Why did they bring a dog on a starship? Like the first human starship. If there were animals, like pets on the Enterprise D, which there were, Data had a cat, that I understand. They're basically on a luxury cruise ship going through space with tons of amenities and bars and holodecks, virtually infinite resources due to the replicators. But on the first human starship? No. We don't have time and resources to feed your pet beagle, Archer. What are you doing? Nails the Tabaxi says, I don't know how you make a show where Scott Bakula is unlikable, but damn if Enterprise didn't succeed. I know it sucks, too, because I love Quantum Leap. And Scott Bakula is such an affable guy. He plays, like, affable, like, good guy so well on Quantum Leap. He could have been such a great captain. It makes me really sad how much they made his character an asshole. What does a dog need with a starship? Picard brought, like, 1,000 civilians and a pack of dolphins. Again, which I'm fine with, because the Enterprise D was a huge Galaxy-class starship. It was basically a giant cruise line in space. That's fine. Also, the dolphins were there for a reason, in case they ran into another the voyage home situation. They're there to communicate with very specific spatial entities that only want to communicate with porpoises. So, get your facts straight. Anyway, that's enough Trek nonsense. In the original draft of the show, the NX-01 didn't leave Earth's solar system until the finale, and whether they survived the jump to Warp 5 was a cliffhanger. I'm glad they didn't do that. That would have been boring. What would they have done around the solar system that much? Was Mars that colonized by Earth in the was that 2100s? Was Enterprise 2100s? Late 2100s? I don't remember the exact year. I don't think the shipyards had been built on Mars yet at that point, so I don't think there's a lot of stuff going on Mars there. 2200s? Because the original Star Trek was like the 2250s, right? No, 23rd century's original Star Trek, 24th century, I want to say, is Next Gen. Could be wrong. Anyway, I'm getting so off track. We can do a Star Trek... We can do a Star Trek stream some other time, maybe. Spokane Cisco says Enterprise 2151. Gotcha. 2151. Cool. Anyway. I guess today, Maria Clovenhill is going to talk to us about whether or not we live in the Matrix. Yes, this counts as the Matrix space on the bingo card.
Do we live in a matrix? That is a theory that is out there, that we live in a simulated reality, that we are mere holograms, and that everything that we are, everything that we see, the people around us, this world, the animals, the birds, everything is just a mere hologram, and they don't exist either.
Okay, so I'm not a big fan of the whole simulation theory stuff. We don't do the hats off on tinfoil days because I'm already wearing so much stuff. So save it. But simulation theory, I'm not a fan of it. I find it to be wholly unhelpful philosophically, and I don't mean to say everything in philosophy needs to be positive or help you, but I don't find it constructive even in a deconstructive way, if that makes sense. It's basically just a new permutation of, like, Plato's cave allegory. People have been struggling with this concept of how do we know what's real since the beginning of human thought. This is not a new concept. The whole idea of, for those who don't know Plato's cave allegory, it's like philosophy 101 stuff. It's if you were locked in a cave your entire life and all you ever saw were shadows flickering on a wall opposite yourself on the cave, you would think that that's reality, these shapes flickering on the wall, right? The idea is just our perceptions are locked into our subjective viewpoints, and therefore we have to accept the reality that we are presented with as reality. Think Truman Show, right? You would have no idea if everything around you was fabricated. If you were a brain in the jar having electrical signals and impulses inputted, you wouldn't be able to distinguish that from reality because it would, for all intents and purposes, be your reality, right? Same thing with the Matrix. It's the same stuff. Not a new concept. It's an interesting concept to think about, but I find it to be wholly unproductive as a thought exercise. Who cares? If I was trapped in a Matrix-like simulation, it wouldn't matter, because I can't do anything about it, so who cares? Whatever is... Here's my basic solution to the brain in a jar hypothesis. Is reality real? Here's the thing. You exist. You think. Therefore, you exist. You have self-awareness. You exist. So whatever real is, guess what? You're a part of it. Whether you're living in a real solid reality and everything is physically real, or you're a brain in a jar and this is all a simulation, you're still a part of reality. You exist. Congratulations. End of story. Now go live your life and be happy and do everything you want to do, because someday you're gonna die. That's all I got in terms of that. I find it to be an entirely masturbatory thought exercise, and not in a fun way. Mike Mack says, Hannah talking about Star Trek. Nerd! I am a nerd. This is true.
That's the theory.
It's similar to solipsism. It's just like, why even think about solipsism? If it were true, it wouldn't matter, would it?
So that's what I'd like to talk about, just only for a little brief moment like that right there. Do we live in a matrix? Now, I'm not saying that I am ascribing to that theory. I'm not, but it is a theory. And there are some people, albeit, that might think that. You got to be kidding, you all. They did not change my screen. Oh my goodness, I thought for sure I changed my thumbnail. I even hit save.
If we're in a sim, you want to change your character sheet? Same! Stone Corbell says, for a certain definition of Matrix, yes.
I even hit save on it. Oh, you all, yeah, gotta wait a minute. I made my file too big, is what happened.
I think they're talking about bringing back King of the Hill, and I think a really good episode of King of the Hill would be Dale getting Peggy into online conspiracy theories and her going down a conspiracy theory rabbit hole that Hank has to pull her out of. There's a lot of fertile comedic ground, I think, to till for there, and I don't know. It's an experience that I think a lot of people have dealt with in the last 5 years. Family members kind of going a little crazy.
File got too big, so I have to shrink it down, but I want to get this on here while you're all on here with me. Yeah, because I wanted to look at it. Now, of course, when you're sharing something like this, of course that's going to happen. Of course they're going to mess something up because they know my frame of mind at the moment where I'm going to go with this. So the Matrix doesn't like me to share this, but that's okay, you all, because I have to come over here and I have to update my picture because it left. Now, I got that updated now, you all. Hello, and good morning, Bang Bang Mucka Bang Apple Brooks. Okay, so we are on here, you all, so we can see that we are on here. Okay, and it's a question. Do we live in a matrix? Well.
Oh no! Do you see what she Googled? Overt anti-Semitism on the bingo card. Sky Comet Fallen says, if we're in The Sims, I want the ability to change clothes by jumping in the air and spinning around in a swirly cloud.
This is what I was looking at. I was looking at pictures of the Matrix. Since there are some who ascribe to that theory that we live in a matrix. And I think Mr. Musk also ascribes to that too, that, our life could be a matrix. Let's see this. See, the Neuralink
Elon Musk is an idiot.
Explained. Okay. Elon Musk thinks we're living in a matrix.
I don't care what Elon Musk thinks. He's dumb.
Okay, are we on there?
Did she Google the Matrix Jewish? She did. Rachology says, Hannah, going at the big philosophical questions.
Kill her. Kill her. Kill her.
I wish I was Barbara.
So let's make sure we got this going, you all, because...
Freaking Out says, how do I know if the Matrix isn't just making you tell me that it doesn't matter because it knows I like you and that all the people that believe in the Matrix are crazy? How do I know it's not propaganda? Just sit down. Just enjoy the great taste of Coca-Cola, which definitely isn't how we're feeding your brains with the nanobots for the simulation. And watch my videos. Raven says, that's true actually. He and a couple other rich weirdos believe that we live in a simulation. Elon's a dumb asshole. I've said that before, but it's true.
So I have to look at this. I never know what they're going to do. So he thinks we live in a matrix, and therefore you have to ask yourself, if Elon Musk thinks that we live in a matrix, then he is going to push for the Neuralink to make us live in that matrix. Well, that's a thought, what you could think behind that. What is behind the matrix? If he thinks that, of course he's going to be for the Neuralink.
That doesn't even make sense. If he already thought we were in a matrix, why would he do Neuralink? He's going to do a matrix in a matrix, which I guess is more similar to the movie The 13th Floor. Look it up. Also, Neuralink is really messed up and they killed a bunch of monkeys. Just heaps of dead monkeys. Science is built on heaps. Noetic Fox with 7 months says, that's why I cannot get into the Matrix. I don't drink Coke, that, and I'm not a plasma snake. Kirthan becomes stream boss, I think. Gitara says, Hannah, what stake do the lizard folk have in this Matrix business? Are y'all simulated, or are you in on the plan? I'm an NPC, actually. I was not programmed very well. All I know is tinfoil and cheeses. Cheeses on the bingo card.
To literally put us completely in that matrix. Now, I'm neutral on Mr. Musk. I am.
I am profoundly negative on Elon Musk.
Isn't
Elon Musk's ex now with Chelsea Manning? Which is pretty funny to me.
A big man in this world. He is. And it's okay. It's all right. We got a lot of big players in this world.
Almanado says that explains why Hannah repeats a lot of the same lines. Stop! You have violated the law! Do you get to the Cloud District often?
We do. So yeah, I just now clicked into that, you all. He thinks that we quite possibly can be living in a matrix. But then he said, he also believed in the UFOs, and if there were aliens, then they live among us. They're already here.
Which is it? Are we in a simulation or are there aliens? Those concepts are like completely separate things. Are they also in the simulation? Are there other simulated planets? You gotta explain these two things, because our understanding of what aliens are doesn't make sense in a simulation, right? You have to explain those two things and how those models would fit in with each other.
Okay. But his greatest fear was AI. That was his greatest fear. AI.
Sky Comet Fallen says, is he using it's all a simulation as a rationale for being a piece of shit? I honestly don't know. I'm kind of surprised more rich people aren't solipsistic. Seriously, imagine that you live in a planet of like 8 billion people, which we're about to, and you are just happen to be in the top 5 richest, most powerful people on that planet. How do you not become solipsistic and think it's all a simulation? The astronomical chances of being born and being one of the most powerful people on the planet is so slim, it almost sounds reasonable to think that you are in a simulation or something. Now, I'm not saying that's true or that they should think that. I'm just saying I understand how you would go crazy in that position.
So if his greatest fear is AI, then...
Anti-Pretzel says Elon needs to stop playing Saints Row 4, because that's literally the plot of that game.
I think he said we have to live in symbiosis. In symbiosis, if there was an alien life form, we would want to try to have a mutual living situation, more or less, to get along with them. Okay, that's what he said. Do I want to have a Neuralink stuck in my head? Do I want somebody to drill a hole? Actually, do I want the robots in the factory to...
Yes, aliens on bingo.
Drill a hole about the size of a quarter in the top of my head to hook me to the Neuralink so I can be hooked to the Wi-Fi and the satellites and the internet? Do I want to be part of that simulation, part of that matrix? I don't think I want to be part of that matrix. Do you?
My understanding is that Neuralink is more for, like, at least initially, the idea is to be for people so they can control prosthetic limbs. Let me be clear, I don't think Elon Musk or his company is going to do this. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, because it would be great for people who want more natural control over prosthetic limbs and stuff. But I just don't have any faith in Elon Musk to do anything along those lines. Or even pay people to. But the idea is that you'd be able to directly control things like prosthetic arms and legs or whatever. If you were in a situation where you couldn't easily control things like computer interfaces, you could do so directly with your mind instead of having to use hands if that's difficult for you for some reason. And then later, the idea would be that it would become something that you could opt into if you would like to be able to control things, you know, electronic devices with your mind or whatever. To my knowledge, it doesn't have anything to do with simulation anything. I don't know, though. Elon Musk might have seen too much Black Mirror, and he's claiming he's gonna put people in San Junipero or something. I don't know.
You want to be part of...
Neuralink is a new and innovative way of killing monkeys. Oh, now I'm sad.
That matrix?
Let me be clear, too. I understand that, like... I completely understand that scientific research and progress involves testing things on animals. Like, if you tell me, you know, 1,000, 2,000, 10 million mice ended up getting sacrificed in order to, you know, forward medical technology or something, I'd be like, okay. But as you get up in like, intelligence, I start to feel worse about it, as I think most people do. You should be real secure in the fact that you can do this safely when you're on monkeys, you know? When you're on monkeys or apes, you should have a pretty decent survival rate at that point. Stop killing monkeys.
There may be some who really think, well, yeah, my life's so boring and it's so much better playing video games. There may be some people who say that.
Chitara says, one of the main issues I see with the simulation hypothesis is that if we plan on simulating people in that new reality, they would naturally be created with minds like ours. The issue arises when those simulated people become smart enough to simulate their own universes. Eventually, this layered simulation would collapse because the original universe's computer would probably end up failing due to hardware limitations. Again, the movie, I think it's called The 13th Floor, deals with this. Yeah, 1999 sci-fi film The 13th Floor has to do with simulation theory and that very concept. So, I believe their solution was they stop emulating civilizations beyond like a certain technological advancement for that reason. I don't remember though, it's been a while since I've seen it.
So yeah.
Wasn't that a Rick and Morty episode? Those weren't simulations, they were mini universes that they created.
There may be people who that is their life. Video games. You go, and we got this board game, the Game of Life. See, we've all played that Game of Life. You might have. I'm sure you've heard of it. See, this is when there was board games. All of these things right here.
There are still board games. Literally, you can go play board games and buy them. Actually, board games are having kind of a like big resurgence. If you go to a game store right now, there are so many goddamn board games to buy now. Because it's like a huge industry, adult board games that are made, you know, more complex and stuff for parties and people hanging out. They're very big. I just reconnected with a friend from high school recently, and we were talking about doing a board game night, and she showed me her and her boyfriend's board game collection. They have 3 full shelves of board games. Crazy.
But I just don't... I don't want to live in the Matrix. I don't. And I can understand Mr. Musk's...
Yeah, I know about the one house. It sold way under what they wanted.
Concern about AI, because what happens when AI becomes too powerful? What happens...
If we were already in a Matrix, then there's already AI, presumably.
When AI becomes too powerful. Because...
Like, if we were in a simulation, we would be the AI, right? Does she even understand what simulation theory is?
Once it reaches the point of singularity, some may say that we're already there. Some may say
we're not.
Say that we're already there. Then you will be property of that singularity, is probably what will happen. You will become property of the singularity, because that...
The singularity isn't an entity that you can become the property of. Computational singularity is the theoretical concept that at some point you get and develop an artificial intelligence that is intelligent enough that it can design a smarter artificial intelligence, and that one being smarter than the previous naturally can create an even smarter artificial intelligence than itself, and on and on and on recursively, infinitely, until you create basically an artificial intelligence that can create an infinitely intelligent artificial intelligence. It's theoretical, right? We're not even close to having anything considered a real AI. So no, we are not in the singularity, nor are we even close to the concept of it if it were to ever happen. We don't even know if it's possible to accurately emulate, like, human thought to the extent that we can create an AI, much less whether or not we can do a singularity.
The singularity that AI will be in control of everything, even in control of you. And just like in the movie Matrix, I only watched it maybe a few times. It's not one of my favorite movies, and that was years and years ago. They just went in and out and in and out. But it was a eerie world. That's what it looked like, an eerie world. And there's been other sci-fi movies, you know. I've done them on here. I think I probably had to delete them, where people were embedded with technology, AI.
Princess Amelia says, broke, thinking advances in technology will make AI too powerful. Woke, thinking advances in technology will make corporations too powerful.
Things like that. Barcode.
Bespoke, knowing that new technology that I implanted myself will allow me to watch Power Rangers, anywhere, anytime, in my brain.
Oh, some...
Pixels Falling, thanks for 7 months, post a link.
Man, this dang old piece of crap dang old blocked up.
Oh yeah, he cuts off his fingers.
I ain't got no fingers!
Boomhauer.
They had like something on their arm, tattoos, those type of tattoos and stuff.
Surprise Sloth, thanks for following.
Now people do have those tattoos. People have chips in them to pay. But could you imagine if
people don't have chips in them to pay right now? I have a chip in my debit card and credit cards that I can tap to pay, but I do not have one in my body. KBS says, we're not really sure how close we are. We use AI software to design each generation of CPUs right now. If you're expecting AI that's self-aware in a way that we would ever understand, that may never happen. That's just like machine... Usually, colloquially, when people say AI, they mean a self-aware, like, intelligent, self-aware system as opposed to machine learning software.
If, as the future progresses, that is the path that humanity is being forced to walk upon, that path right there.
No one's forcing you. If you don't want to get a chip implanted in you, then don't.
The Matrix, could you imagine it? Because, you know, we're getting close to it. I personally don't feel like I live in a matrix right now, but there may be some who do, those who feel that everything is holographic, even humans. And if you think about it, let's get over here to Mr. Musk. Okay, we can get to Mr. Musk. He's not the only one who thinks about it. Look, the red pill, we got the red pill.
Rachology says, short article showing how far we are away from simulating a human brain complexity, let alone making it self-aware. I'd imagine very far away. Human brain supercomputer with 1 million processors switched on for the first time. The thing about even the idea of self-awareness is we're not super... I don't think we understand consciousness very well. So how would we even know how to simulate that? Unless it's just an emergent property, but I don't necessarily think it is. I don't know. Hydrate.
Pill, and we got the blue pill. Well, they kind of, you know what these look like? They look like NyQuil. They do.
I'm pretty sure when the Matrix came out, NyQuil only came in liquid form. I don't think it came in pill form.
I think it looks like the NyQuil tablets. I do, those liquid gels.
Caplets.
Now that doesn't...
Tablets are solid. Caplets are liquid.
Really, but that's what it looks like. First looking at that, you ought to look like the NyQuil tablets, which I cannot stand. I can't. Oh my gosh. So yeah, look at this. Let's look at that, you all. No, I don't want to get chipped either. You know, he looks awful young in this picture. That's not a bad picture of Mr. Musk. It's not. And this robot looks really serious. Very serious and determined. That's a good photo they put together. It is. It really is. So if you think about it, would that be an advanced race of beings? One that was an artificial intelligent race of beings? That would be a life form. You could say that's a life form because I think they've mentioned what would be defined as a life form. Something that could think and all of that kind of stuff. Something that could replicate. You know, as it is, you can clone. Let's just get this. You can clone computers. You can make multiple copies in the virtual world of different types of environments. You can. They can self-replicate. They can do it all themselves.
That's not the same as our definition of life in terms of, like, growth and reproduction. Not the same thing. Rachology says, for context, to a mouse, a trays need 149 million more of the same supercomputer. Nails the Tabaxi says, Mr. Musk sounds like a puppet of a ferret on a public access kids show.
Would that be a life form? It might be considered that, but let's get back to this. I don't want to be on here too long because I'm not really somebody who's going to focus on that because I want to live in this reality. That looks kind of gross. It does. So look at that. So do you want to have your babies made like this? Okay, you do.
If I were to have a baby, which I wouldn't want to anyway, yes, I would not want something growing inside of me.
Because, you know, they can do that. They have...
No, they can't.
Have the technology to clone. But then if... Listen...
No, they don't. They do not have the technology to clone human children. And even if they did, cloning still takes place inside of the embryo of a living organism. So, like, animals that we have successfully cloned, which are few and far between, they are still gestated within the wombs of living animals. Like, they are not in a pod somewhere being grown. They like, take eggs and fertilize them and do whatever science thing to them that I don't understand. I'm sure Baja's mad at me for not mad at me, but I'm sure she's frustrated listening to me not know anything about this. And then they implant the, fertilized, egg into a compatible animal, and then it grows like a normal baby. Radiology says, what the fuck is wrong with my typing? You need 149 million more of the same supercomputers connected to that one to simulate a mouse brain. Gotcha. Yasmin Way, thanks for 15 months. Not frustrated at all? Oh, good.
Let's think about this, you all. Okay, let's talk about the cloning. If they're cloning people,
They are not cloning people.
I don't think that's a matrix because they're physical bodies. Okay, they're physical bodies, okay? But really, now I'm going to get right to the point. So if we live in a matrix, they want us to think that we live in a matrix. You got these virtual goggles. You got the Zuckerberg and his, whatever that is, his Facebook world. I never read much into that either. And you have people today, they like to play video games. First-person stuff, and, you know, they get in there and they get all...
People these days like to play video games like that newfangled Doom or Quake 2.
Great. There's been a whole entire generation, several generations of children who have grown up in front of the computer playing these games, living in these simulated realities. They actually have places where people can go into these simulated realities because they don't like their life right now.
What do these people not understand about virtual reality just being fun? No, I love my life. My life is great. But sometimes I like to watch TV and movies for entertainment. Sometimes I like to put on a virtual reality helmet and shoot zombies. Both are just fun forms of entertainment. They have nothing to do with whether or not I like my life. Like, people read books too. Like, is reading a book mean you hate your life because you want to, like, be entertained by something someone wrote or informed? No.
But in those simulated realities, they can be whoever they want to be. Okay.
VR chat. Lots of furries.
And they can leave the world behind. Okay. Could it be that there is a race of beings that are highly intelligent, that want to create their own world, okay, because they're not happy with our physical world. They want to create their own world, their own virtual world where they are in absolute control, okay?
No, you would need to evidence all of those claims. Hydrate.
Okay. Could it be that we have a race of beings, and you don't even have to call them aliens? You know, they could have been around for thousands upon thousands of years, and they're so advanced in technology, and they want to create their own world, their own race, and they want you to live in this world, this virtual world also.
I'm wondering how close to the anti-Semitic line she's gonna veer with this, because she's already right up against it. Like, I know it, especially with her Google search that she backed out of earlier, we know what she's trying to say without saying, but I'm trying to see how close she gets.
And they want you to be a part of it. They want to be in control of you. Could it be? It really could be. That's the theory. And if one would think, if there are some people who think that, yeah, we live in a matrix, nothing's real, but that's very dangerous. If you are a teenager, a young person, an older adult, if you adhere to that frame of thought that this is all a reality, and you go out and you physically do something to cause detrimental harm to other human beings, I'm going to tell you right now, you are going to pay the price in this physical world. Okay, you're going to pay the price. Okay, I think this is a real world that we live in. Okay, I'm real, you're real. We have feelings. Okay, we do. We also have laws in this physical world, but in the virtual world, I guess they have things where there is no law. You do what you want. The sad thing is, if you carry that out in this real world, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. If you're trying to imitate that virtual world, which you see on TV and all of that, if you're trying to imitate it and bring that type of lifestyle into the physical world, it's not going to bode well with you. It's not. Okay? But there is a theory that we're living in a matrix. But then Mr. Musk, he wants to do the Neuralink and put the hole in your head like that. And they are experimenting on people. Some people already got that in their head. They got the Neuralink in their head.
I don't know if they tested it on people yet. They tested it on monkeys and killed a lot of monkeys, and I think they decided to move forward with human tests, even though a lot of the monkeys died. I don't know if any humans have it yet, though. I don't think they do. Sky Comet Fallen says, no, that's not how the universe works. You're snorting your own supply, Gina.
They do, but I don't want to be one of those people. I don't want to be controlled like that, and I don't want to be connected like that. There probably will be a whole generation of people, maybe unwilling participants, who will have that in their head too. Let me get back over here. I'm trying to get out of this thing because I was going to see something else. There was something else I saw on here when I pulled up this matrix. There was. I want to make sure I'm on here, so I pulled up the matrix. And when I was on my laptop, this is literally what I saw when I pulled up my laptop. Jewish, because there was a
I think I already said overt anti-Semitism, but in case I didn't.
School of thought. Look, Paul's Jewish matrix. I never heard of that. I never did heard about it. Judaism in the matrix of Christianity. Religion, the real matrix. What's this? The birth of Christianity from the matrix of Judaism. Y'all, this is the first time I've ever seen something like this. It really is. I can't read that. I really can't read that. If you're, I think this is what's Rustland? Weimar Republic. That sounds Dutch.
I think it's German. Stone Corbell says, Matrix is a real word that means things. It's not just the movie, you idiot. Does she not understand that?
Comparison between that doesn't look very nice. The Matrix and Anne Frank. I never did read nothing about that, but I think that was was that a required thing in school for people to read about? Because I'm not quite sure about it. We got an app right here. So
the title was Jews in Popular Music in the 20th Century. Gotcha.
So now see, you can look at this stuff yourself. You can go do your own research. You can on all of this stuff. But it showed up when I was looking at the Matrix, is what it did. It showed up. So
I'm sure it just showed up randomly.
Let me put this back to me.
Yeah, this is the trans metaphor matrix spot too.
So who knows what's going on in this world, but there is a theory that we live in the Matrix, and they made movies about the Matrix and, artificial intelligence and all of that kind of stuff. They did. And I don't want to go there. Okay, I don't. And if you are a person who you personally feel that we live in a matrix. Well, then that's your personal opinion. It is. Yeah, and you're not alone. Although the majority of the population...
I didn't hold my head. Why do you guys ask when I haven't done it?
Doesn't believe...
Like, are you trying to trick me? I know I didn't.
...that we live in a matrix, and they don't believe that everything is a hologram. But it is one theory, it is, and that's yeah, it's just another theory to look into if you find that interesting. It is. But I want to live in this real world, personally. I like living in this real world, I do.
Do you? Doesn't seem like you do. Rachology says, who knows what's going on in this world? Well, sure as shit isn't you.
And I like to think that my life has meaning and that I have purpose. I do. And I'd like to think that other people have meaning and other people have purpose. And I want to be in this world with other people. I do. With other human beings, with humanity. I don't want to live in a virtual world. Okay, I don't want to live in that created, because it is being created. The virtual world is being created to augment this real world that we live in. Okay, it is. And I'm older, and I may not be able to jump all into that like everybody else, but I do use technology. You use technology, and AI is very powerful, and they have a lot of tools that we use, that humanity uses in our everyday lives. A lot of things are automated. Okay, so we're really kind of part of it. We kind of live in this virtual world, this AI-controlled world. We do.
Machines existing does not make us in an AI-controlled world. What? Words have meanings. You can't just word associate your way into a dystopia.
But yeah, that's it. And I am going to go. I'm going to go, and thank you for your comments. I didn't look at a single one. I didn't. But yeah, share your thoughts on that, you all. Share your thoughts. It's something to ponder. So with that being said, hello, wherever you are in any part of the world. Hello, from my heart to yours. Love you. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you so much for coming on here. And I'll see you later.
Gina is just out here being crazy. Like, what the hell?
There's something by the sun, and it looks like a planet-like object.
Nibiru on the bingo card. We'll go over the bingo card in a second, by the way. When conspiracy theorists look for a purpose. We ain't found shit. Yeah, I can't play that.
It's round, and then there's something even bigger behind it. It's red. Okay, and then on the side,
It doesn't understand how cameras work on the bingo card. It's a glare. It's a glare. It's not another planet.
Got these plasma ships. That, I believe, they are somehow connected with this sun and what's up there with it. We're going to look at a few photos. And
they are connected with the sun. They're lens flares.
We're going to see the time lapse of New Zealand. This is in New Zealand, by the way, the volcano area. You can see the edge detect in the upper right-hand corner. You can see the inverted mode in the left-hand corner, and you can see the actual photo of these plasma ships. And then we'll just see them a little bit larger, like right here.
They're not ships, Gina. Chitara says, regarding the last bit, Gina says, I've always believed that we are the ones with the agency to give our lives meaning and purpose, not some AI running a simulation, uncaring universe, or even a god.
In the inverted mode. In the edge.
Alright. That's enough, Gina. Let's move on. Oh yeah, I brought up necromancy in the title, didn't I? We gotta do a little bit of the necromancy thing. Ah, damn it. Rachology says, I try very hard not to explain away people's bizarre thought traps as being the result of stupidity, but with her I give up. I think there's some mental stuff going on. Well, this is a tape from 1993 about necromancy, aka bringing the dead back to life. So let's take a look.
I climb down a ladder. I just close my eyes and start visualizing myself climbing down a ladder, and when I get to the bottom rung, I sort of spiral backwards. I kind of just dive backwards, and then each circle gets bigger and bigger, a little slower and slower, and eventually I just kind of drift off, and the next thing I know, I open my eyes, and it could be 5 minutes or 5 hours later.
Whatever was coming through was a master, absolute master of manipulation. They or it knew something.
I allow it to occur, and I can feel the energy coming around me. It's sort of like, not like sticking your finger in a wall socket, but something less than that, and you feel it in you. You know it's present.
How do you know who you're talking to? That's one of the questions I ask these people. How can you really be sure of the identity of this entity? That ought to frighten you. Maybe they're misrepresenting themselves. They got no ID. If you put their state...
Always ask the demon you summon for ID. It's pretty important. One day you're going to be asking for Beelzebub, and you're going to get Pazuzu, and that's unacceptable. They try and steal each other's identities a lot. They get paid by the job, so it's tight down there.
Statements under a microscope, you'll find, especially the ones about past life, you find out that something is wrong here, that the picture is not complete.
Without a doubt, if it is for real, you'll be opening up doors that are meant to remain closed.
Did a demon tell him to get that haircut?
Just like I did. And eventually, you'll have spirit entities controlling you.
They say that there's like not a lot of difference in some ways. Actually, they're talking to me about it right now.
Oh, you need to get psychological help. You probably have schizophrenia or something else that's making you hear voices. That's not normal. They're not demons. This isn't 1687. That's schizophrenia. Please get help. Sky Comet Fallen says, my Skyrim character is a necromancer serial killer, so they must be talking about her. I agree with them. She's the worst.
It is called channeling, where the physical body is only the vehicle. The vocal cords resound with non-physical voices.
Boo! The title says necromancy.
The phenomenon
Close enough.
is widespread. There are thousands of channelers in North America alone, and millions of adherents come from all walks of life, seeking the wisdom of the so-called spirit guides. Who are these voices? Extraterrestrials? Ascended masters? Highly evolved spirit beings? These are just some of their claims.
Not even going to bring up that it could just be delusions. Delusions or they're lying. Those are the two. Those are the two options. Either they're genuinely delusional and need to seek psychological help, or they're grifters. Those are the two things that they are.
It will laugh. It will laugh.
The practice itself is difficult for any of us to accept at face value. Is the supernatural interacting with the natural? Are
No.
spirits really in contact with humans? If so...
No. Jitara says channeling. Damn, I was hoping they'd share the secrets to lichdom.
Oh, who
Do you have a phylactery?
are the voices making the claims and providing the information?
The title says 93 this came out.
With the Edgar Cayce style, deep trance style, there came through a group of guides numbering in the thousands, several thousands, and in time they gave their name and they call themselves Starfleet.
Someone broke the Prime Directive to contact her. They're gonna be in a lot of trouble.
They have told me that they are extraterrestrial intelligences from another star system. I guess is the closest thing you could say.
This isn't even necromancy! They're talking to what they think are aliens!
And yet they're also multidimensional beings. Even though they do have physical forms.
It was nice back in the day when people had to buy VHS tapes to get doses of crazy instead of just Googling things.
They're not quite the same as
Yeah, this can be word salad.
ours are.
Cites fiction as fact. The Matrix video was enough, the last one, I think.
And there are others, too, that I've seen that are extraterrestrial, that look different from them, but they seem to work together.
Or alien necromancers, perhaps.
Another channeler, Pat Rodegast, channels a spirit called Emmanuel, in her book simply called
Spirit channeling isn't necromancy, this is false advertisement. I don't disagree. I was reading this title, and I apologize.
Emmanuel's book. Rodegast describes her first encounter. The first time I saw Emmanuel, he appeared, as he still does, as a being of golden light. Steve White channels a group of entities who take on yet a different form.
I channel several different beings. There are beings that are termed the spiritual hierarchy and the Ashtar Command. All of a sudden everybody goes, ooh, the Ashtar Command, UFOs and stuff. But the Ashtar Command, they're etheric beings. They're not in a physical embodiment like we have. And as one evolves from, let's say, the third dimensional plane to others, they
G-Shock, thanks for following.
Can choose different aspects of service. And the Ashtar Command are ascended masters.
At least this guy didn't just use Starfleet. He made up his own woo-woo bullshit.
Who have chosen to be in service to different planets going through transition.
Why?
Acheron's about 8 feet tall.
Whoever's tasked with babysitting Earth, that's not a fun job, is it?
He's slim, but very powerful. His main emanation seems to be in the blue range, the blues, the violets, the purples. Actually, I called him Blue for many years because I couldn't hear his name. Even Acheron is only a very small portion of his real name, because their names are comprised of all their experience and all their knowledge, and we just don't have the vocal cords or the comprehension to be able to say their whole name. So they've given me little bits of...
Okay, I don't think she's crazy. I think she's a grifter.
Their names.
Now that I've listened to her more.
The expertless experts.
Jacques Purcell is internationally renowned. He channels Lazarus, a non-physical entity whose teachings have influenced the lives of thousands of people through public lectures, video and audio tapes, and personal consultation.
Who is he? That's a good question. He's never been physical, and he's never had a body form. That disturbs some people.
Quilts were a big thing in the 90s. What was up with that?
Because they assume because I'm physical and because you're physical, everybody in the universe has been physical and have all been here on Earth or whatever. We're starting to accept the idea that maybe there are life forms that are other than on Earth.
Hydrate.
And maybe eventually we can accept the idea that there are life forms that don't have bodies either. And he's one of those. He refers to himself as a consciousness, an intelligence, a spark of love, a spark of light without form. And that's probably the best description of what he is. Who he is just this incredible loving energy that seems to be here to not save us and not do for us, but to befriend us and help us do for ourselves. It's nothing mysterious. I don't know if it would work for everybody, but it seems to work for me, and that is I climb down a ladder. I just close my eyes and start visualizing myself climbing down a ladder, and when I get to the bottom rung, I sort of spiral backwards. I kind of just dive backwards, and then each circle gets bigger and bigger, a little slower and slower, and eventually I just kind of drift off, and the next thing I know, I open my eyes, and it could be 5 minutes or 5 hours later, and I know something must have happened because I always feel good afterwards. So
someone dosing him with drugs?
That's how I do it, and yeah, I've done it now for as many as 10 or 12 times a day, or once a day at least, for 13 years now.
I relax, and I developed my own
Nick says, you took a nap, buddy. You took a nap.
relaxation technique, which everyone would find for themselves to be unique. I relax. I raise my vibrational frequency by bringing my thoughts to thankfulness and joy and love and such higher thought form frequencies, as well as
So you're like meditating, or like in cognitive behavioral therapy, this is a thing too. It's not about frequencies though, it's just about like bringing your mind to grateful things, things that you're happy about, to try and help turn your mood to a more positive thing. It's not magic. It's just concentrating on positive things. It has nothing to do with vibration.
I visualize moving into a lighter and more refined vibration of existence. It's so I imagine light and refined feeling. And from there, I connect with my source, and this source I allow to blend with my energy. Of course, I'm familiar with this source, and
you gotta make sure. You gotta make sure your source wears protection, okay? It's the 90s.
I feel like I fill up with golden light. I feel like I'm filling up with golden light, and it's grounded right down to my feet, and they just start speaking from there. They speak through me. I step aside, and because I step aside, that is why I go into a trance state.
I just step aside. I just get out of the way. And it's possible that like a main portion of my energy body steps aside, leaving the portion that keeps the heart going and the lungs going and everything there. And then that part of Ageron, or whoever is speaking, will come in and utilize my form. That area.
Okay. I'm done with the 90s grifters. I feel like the next 45 minutes are going to be the exact same shit. How about this one from RV Truth?
Tang, the drink the astronauts took to the moon.
Astronauts to the moon. Like I always say, truth in movies, lies in the news. And also, on a side note, they mention astronauts.
Hold on, Nails the Tabaxi says necromancy-related cleanse.
I hope I can help. Necromancy may be legal in Cyrodiil, but few will openly admit to practicing it now that the Mages Guild has banned it. Farewell.
May you rest in peace.
Someone get the Staff of Worms, quick! Oblivion joke. Okay, back to the thing. I'll restart this. It's time to watch RV Truth and learn about, you guessed it, Freemasonry.
Tang, the drink the astronauts took to the moon.
Astronauts to the moon. Like I always say, truth in movies, lies in the news. And also, on a side note, they mention astronauts brought Tang to the moon. And there's a reason for that. Everything they do, there's a reason. No wasted motion.
It's a joke. It's literally a joke. It's a joke. It's the Coneheads. Science fiction is fact on the bingo card, by the way.
Here's a picture of the orange Tang.
This isn't Hans.
The reason for Tang, of course, the only color in numerology, that's 33. The highest degree in the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry.
I don't believe that only one color is 33 in that numerology system that they use. I don't believe that. Numerology on the bingo card, and also Freemasons.
As I've mentioned so many times,
sorry, the launch suits are orange for visibility. It's the same reason the space suits are white, because when you wear a space suit in space, the white is... it's Ceci. Post your bingo card so I can check it. Congrats. Anyway, your white suit is easier to see from the background in space. On Earth, orange is very visible, especially if you have to make a landing somewhere in water or whatever. So that's why those are orange. It's a visibility thing. It's sassy. Let's check your card. Cheese, which I did. Oh wait, I'm doing the wrong one. Word salad. Outside. You win! Okay, I'll write your name down. Let me know if you ever want that or want me to gift it to someone else. Congrats, that's the bingo winner today. Let me write your name down. On my master list. Where are my recent? There it is. Cool. Congrats. Written down.
Let's take a look at the connection with orange and 33. It goes a long way. Taking a look.
Check the hex value, and blue is also 33. Wow, it wasn't even a hard color. It was one of the basic colors. Interesting.
Get Citibank here. And what do you see this girl doing? Smiling with the orange in her mouth. That's the 33 right in plain sight.
Got him.
A little bit of a close-up. And of course, ING Direct with their orange account. The orange savings.
Let me let you in on a little tip. Because I can explain why you see a lot of orange in advertising and company stuff with my own channel. So if you look at my YouTube channel, I have two kinds of videos. Videos that are full streams, which I just usually use as a thumbnail, the stream is starting, or clips, like this. Sorry, the thing moves because it's trying to show a preview. But you can see the thumbnail briefly, right? Notice anything? Orange text. Orange text. Where are more? Orange text. Orange text. I usually use orange text is what I'm getting at in the text on my thumbnails. Now, why is this? Is Hannah secretly a part of the Illuminati? Hydrate? No, idiots. It's because, I'm not calling you guys idiots. I'm calling the conspiracy theorist idiots. It's because orange is a striking color, and I am not kidding. When I started using primarily orange in the text on my video thumbnails, they started getting more clicks. It is a well-known phenomena that orange is more striking, and it stands out more to people. So if you're trying to get people to notice something, then you use the color orange.
The electric orange, the lightning bolt, of course, a reference to the Bible in Luke chapter 10, verse 18, where Jesus beheld Satan falling from heaven as lightning. Of course, the phony, fake ball earth as a orange. And a little bit more here from ING
Direct. We do have 333 viewers right now. Nice.
The orange key. Planet Orange, basically a reference.
But Hannah, that actually makes sense. I know. All the best conspiracies do.
To planet.
Conspiracy cover-ups, rather.
Number 33. And sometimes that 33 is not so obvious. With Bank of America here. Well, let's look at Discover first. You see all these cards in orange.
My debit card is blue.
To Bank of America.
And so are my credit cards.
It's not so obvious, but the 11, 11, 11 is 33 in numerology. And they're not going to pass up on the orange, the occult of the orange. And take a look at the Bank of America building in Houston, Texas. It just so happens to be shaped or designed as 3 pyramids. And the color is orange.
It's not a pyramid? Is my house a pyramid because it has a roof like this? It's not a pyramid. It's steps and then it goes down straight. That's not a pyramid just because the roof has like a this. What?
Orange. And taking a look at the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, of course, it's painted orange, and people ask all the time, why is it?
I guess I never considered the Golden Gate Bridge to be orange. Golden Gate Bridge color. International orange. No, I'm wrong. For some reason, I guess I always thought more off red. But apparently the official color name is International Orange. So I'm wrong on that one. Yeah, it doesn't look like orange to me either, but...
Is it painted orange and not gold like its name? Just so happens it was built in 1933. Just a coincidence, I'm sure. See Al Bundy here, married with children.
They're hiding it all around us, especially in 90s sitcoms.
Wearing the number 33. Of course, the C, ABC 123. This is a 3 as well. Germany, they had their own drink, and it was the Fanta Orange.
Wait, is Fanta from Germany? Oh, it is. I didn't know that. Fanta is orange colored because it's an orange flavored soda. A good orange flavored soda.
Going back in time, you can see it. The drink originated in Germany.
Porcelain Giant, thanks for 18 months. Imagine being like, oh my god, this grape soda logo is purple! Evil is afoot.
It's not a coincidence. For those that believe, kind of hero, you are completely deluded, deceived. Unbelievable how people are completely...
Chiba Hawk 420, thanks for 10 months, says, don't you want a Fanta? No, I don't. I like Fanta. I don't think it's my favorite orange soda, though. I'd have to think about it. Maudlin, thanks for subscribing and kicking off a hype train. 94% to level 1.
Completely programmed. Most people that don't believe in God, they look for a hero. Or likely an...
I'm non-religious. I'm an agnostic atheist, which basically means I don't think there's a God, but I don't claim to have any special knowledge that there is no God. I just don't think there's evidence supporting the idea that there's a God. I don't really care what other people believe. That's fine. That's their business as long as they don't hurt other people for their beliefs. I'm not looking for anything like that. I derive meaning in my life myself and from the people I love around me. I'm not looking for, like, a fasci leader. In fact, a lot of fasci people are religious, so that doesn't make a lot of sense as a claim. Nerdtacular, thanks for 100 bits. I'll give you examples. John Doyle, Nick Fuentes.
Atheist.
I'm pretty sure Richard Spencer
doesn't believe in God, that needs a hero. There are no heroes. You need to understand that. Look at the cover of this book. It's orange. Orange. Okay. Can you see this? Take a look.
Okay, I can probably find tons of books with orange covers. Do I have anything orange on the shelf behind me? Let's see. I have an Action Comics #1 reprint. The ground is orange. Does that mean Superman is a Freemason? Because there's orange on the cover of this? The Gospel According to Biff, Christ's childhood pal. Is this Illuminati? I don't have a lot of orange things. This is kind of yellowy orange, the Mark of the Beast book that Broha got me. Rageology with 250 bits says, hype. Guyish says, let's get this otter their friend. 19% to level 2. Trump is orange, and he's going to mention that in the video. This isn't orange, but it is my copy of Twilight from high school.
This is my orange.
Illuminati, Kitty! Kitty makes a cameo on the bingo card. Hello, kitten. Are you working with the Illuminati and you did not tell us?
He says, of course.
When we hunt, unwillingly, we give ourselves over to our senses, govern less with our minds. Aww. What? You don't want me to serenade you with the prose of Stephanie Meyer?
Actually not.
Stone Corbell says, I just bought a ring with an orange gemstone. I'm in the Illuminati. Boo.
Ow!
Sorry.
Oh, that hurt. It's actually metal.
Yeah.
You smashed my foot with it.
It's vibranium, obviously. I'm sorry. Why won't things fit? There we go. Alright, let's continue. 22% to level 2.
I look at Angela Merkel of Germany, the Chancellor, and she's wearing orange. And
that's red. That's 100% red.
Of course, the Masonic hand sign. Oh, the same exact thing. People need to wake up and realize.
Mr. Blast says, walk it off.
People like Eric Dubay talking about the flat Earth. He's telling you the truth there.
Mr. Blast, I said.
She says.
Then he leads you on to lies. I just saw this clip on PK22's channel. Take a listen. Orange Fanta drink. Of course, every word he's speaking is not from him. It's from his handlers. He's just reading a script. This needs to be understood. And the script writers, of course, they're all come from the elite above, passed down, complete garbage. Now, before I play this clip, I really advise PK to really get involved and do some research into the occult. Because if you don't, a lot of hidden messages are going to go right over everybody's head. It needs to be pointed out with those that are behind the scenes. I'm going to play this video. And again, there are always hidden messages. Again, listen to when he says Orange Fanta. They're going to break down the occultic meaning behind why he said orange. Orange is the only color.
Nerdtacular, thanks for 100 bits. 30 seconds left with 28%.
That's what it's all about. All about the Freemasons that run this world, like I said so many times. And this is the highest degree in the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry.
And the man who served us this
Eris Malel, thanks for gifting a sub. 61% with 10 seconds left. Probably gonna die. KBS with 100 bits says, hype.
Just said, yes, these people are strange. And at the moment, when I was about to bite into my sandwich, and Rashid was just a few meters away from me with his bottle of Fanta Orange, and...
Thanks, everyone.
That's the key right there. Orange. Always 33 in the PsyOps. It's not going to be so obvious at times. I've pointed this out before. With 33, I'm going to get into that after this video concludes. The form of mockery here is Hillary Clinton wearing the orange suit.
And as we all know, she never wore any other color than orange. Rachology says, if you don't look for the hidden messages, you'll never find them. Sky Comet Fallen says, if he hates orange, Trump must give him a heart attack. He literally talks about Trump later in this video. This video is entitled, The Reason Astronauts Bought Orange Tang to the Moon and Why Donald Trump's Face is Orange.
Into salute. Understand, her husband, Bill Clinton, of course, was born Bill Blythe. The reason he changed his name to Clinton, his surname, because it's 33 in numerology. People need to wake up and realize again.
So you think he changed his name to hide the 33 connection in numerology, but you also think they're wearing orange to intentionally signal that. Okay?
Again, there are no heroes. Stop being deceived, stop being deluded, looking for one. The only hero you're going to have is Jesus Christ. Okay, now let's take a look at Arnold Schwarzenegger, and what do you see? Same exact salute, and he's smiling. Of course, a form of mockery.
He's doing a pose that, I'm going to be honest, not a great pose, but it's a pose to show off his body, because he was a bodybuilder. He was like Mr. Universe multiple years in a row.
He would have never made it big in this world unless he was one of them. It's that simple. You're not going to make it in this world unless you sell out. You, of course, huge in the Terminator movies. all over TV still to this day. Of course, the governor of California. Unbelievable how people, are fooled and conned by these actors. Throughout history, Ronald Reagan, Jesse Ventura, Clint Eastwood. Some of these people believe that these were actual heroes when they're nothing more than puppets. The world's a stage. People need to realize that. Now, getting back to Arnold, let's take a look here at this image with Bloomberg here, where you see belt buckle, and this, of course, this photo shot taken. This is all on purpose as a form of mockery, saying who he is affiliated with. Same thing here goes with Glenn Beck. So again, you turn to CNN or Fox News, it does not matter. They're all in the same club, and they show it. As I mentioned many times, they're on the third parallel. The world's a stage, and so few can figure this out. I think people can't figure out when they tell me not everything's a hoax. Give me a break. How can everything be fabricated? Are you crazy? Understand. They cannot report just random news stories to bring in their new world order. They must manufacture it through propaganda, through the news.
Why do you assume there's a new world order?
They're not going to waste time covering real news stories when their whole objective is to bring in the new world order.
You're basing that claim on what?
And so few can see that when they tell me that not everything's a hoax, not all news is fake. There's real news stories that take place, of course, in your
spurious symbology is evidence, yes.
Local news, but for the most part, if something gets covered 24/7 on CNN, Fox News, or MSNBC, it's part
Jump up, Blue.
Of their agenda. That simple. Bring on the New World Order. The Orange Order, established back in 1795.
That is a terrible flag.
Primarily based in Northern Ireland and, of course, Scotland. Understand, if you don't understand the occult and you watch these videos, you're not going to get it. And here's William of Orange, King of England, Scotland, and Ireland. Standholder of the Netherlands as well. Basically, King of the 33. That's what it's all about. This is how far back it goes. You can read this entire article here in Wiki.
I'm just going to where he talks
some
about
more
Trump.
Research. Here is a orange banner.
Maybe he doesn't actually directly talk about him. He just put him in the title.
How these
clickbait
students in these university order prey into.
Boo.
More at that. There you go again. Only the 30.
All right. Oh, there it is. REM tells Orange Clown Trump to quit using their songs.
Just take a look at this image of Donald Trump. Clearly see this man is using orange makeup.
It's my favorite color, orange.
Okay, let's see who we're gonna rate. I'm tired and hungry. Thank you all so much for turning up for another Tinfoil Tuesday. As always, it's been fun. I'll be back tomorrow for another stream. I'm not sure what we'll be doing yet. If you have any ideas, let me know on Twitter, at Hannah Reloaded. This Sunday is going to be the patron-only stream. So, wait, no. Sunday, I believe, wait, let me see. I think I have a wedding on Sunday I have to go to, so it's probably going to have to be the week after. I'll let you guys know. I thought it was going to be this Sunday, but I just remembered that I think there's a wedding this weekend that I'm going to. So, yeah, that's it. Let's see who we're going to rate. Blizzbear's live? Sure. We haven't done Blizzbear in a while.
Is there anything in her relationship with her daughter?
Alright, have a good night. See you guys tomorrow. Still, we will have a patron-only live stream later in the month, though, so if you want to, patreon.com/Hannah Reloaded. There's a link in my Twitch channel, like below the thing in the info bar. And that's fun. We cover a lot of people that we can't cover on Twitch, like Nick Fuentes, a lot of white nationalist types. It's frustrating. Rachiology with 100 bits says, bye, bye, enjoy grinding beans. Maybe next week you'll trust me. All right, have a good night, everyone. See you later.